Are we on the line now?
We're on the line now.
Okay.
I like that movie, actually. Go ahead.
The last couple of weeks, I've been actually trying to figure out how to post it. Like, I've posted in 8 different comment sections in the last couple of weeks, and then whenever the King of Beer Tube reads it, they're not picked up, so I still don't get this shit.
You do realize when the King of Beer Tube reads comments, he is fucking shit-faced beyond belief and can't even read sentences at that point. So it's probably better off he doesn't find your comments.
Sometimes I post on YouTube, sometimes I post on Google Hangouts. Apparently, Google Plus is what worked for me today. I don't understand this shit.
You're lucky Lee can see at any point when he's trying to read comments, let's be honest.
Okay.
You know.
You're just not worthy. You have to have like a long thing like Raining on Your Parade or it's whatever, Winter's Coming Along. It's something that captures his attention. It's just, I don't know. You're not worthy. You need a creative handle for him to sort of recite. You need
to be hated by is basically what you were saying.
Okay.
He likes you too much.
I'll work on it.
You need to have big breasts and a red head.
That helps.
Doesn't matter if you're male or female, to be clear.
Yep. So anyway, yeah, first and foremost, what are we all drinking tonight? For me, I have the Barnyard IPA from Indie Ale House.
Cool.
How is it?
It's okay. It's very drinkable. It smells like dirty feet. It actually smells like dirty feet. And it's funny because I watched their video that today they put up about making fun of all the bloggers and all that. And the guy that's going toes, I did that in the video. Because it does. It smells like they dip their toes in it. But it tastes great, so who cares?
You sure you're not getting a lot of rope in that one?
I'm not getting a lot of rope, no.
No rope, no.
Or raspberry licorice.
I am drinking Firestone Walker's Easy Jack IPA out of the can. Because they can this now. They can Union Jack and they can People Pills. And
oh, shit.
They're all fucking great.
Canning. Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
For yourself there, Bradley?
Dorado from Ballast Point. Double IP. Right. Awesome.
You work?
I'm not drinking tonight. All right.
The old man is so sad. You can't drink.
I'm still trying to wring myself out from last week. So.
Was it a good trip?
Excellent trip. Excellent. Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't get back to you about the Glasgow hot spots, unfortunately, but
that's okay. I only had time to hit one. I hit actually hit a couple. I hit Brewdog and a little place called the 78. It's like a local spot. It's pretty cool. A lot of microbrews there.
That's awesome, man.
How many pieces of glassware did you pick up?
How many pieces? Do you want my real answer?
Yes, I would like your real answer.
That's a fair question.
Well, 4 or 5.
I was just wondering. That's all. I saw your picture. I can't remember. I know you picked up a Brewdog too. So
one of them is not for me. So
that's not excessive.
No.
What are you drinking tonight, Mr. Beard?
I've got the, I believe it's pronounced Eyinger. They're Weizenbach.
Nice.
I had another beer by them, I think it was last summer. I can't remember which it was, but it was, like, fantastic. So when I saw this, I picked it up. It's pretty good for what it is. It's not normally a style I like, but it's pretty nice, and I have it in my unproper glassware, of course.
Look at this guy with this fucking pint glass. What is this?
Yeah, that's right.
Improper on many levels.
I did a whole week of. I did 4 reviews in that pint glass last week. I haven't edited them yet. Once I edit them, I'll start posting them. But basically, I trolled Ewart and Aaron in every review.
Hey man, you can't troll a troll. I'll tell you. Right?
I have to do something to get back at you for your little game you played on, motherfucker. And I told the guys from there what you did, and they laughed their asses off too.
I'm gonna wait for a cease and desist letter before I ever take that Facebook page down. I want 30 bench to call me to say why, or to get a hold of me and say, why are you having people call us? So.
For yourself, Chris, who just came in, good day to you, and what are you drinking tonight?
Thank you very much for introducing me. I don't often come in this early to be asked that, but I'm just drinking the sweet nectar of Jesus and the nectar of the Queen, Colt 45.
What?
You don't live under a bridge, Chris. What is this? I heard somewhere that only people who live under bridges drink the Colt 45 or malt liquor in general. I could have been misinformed though.
Hey, I don't believe it. I want to see it on camera. It's April Fool's. Don't forget. Oh.
Well, when Jay Terrio rolls up, he can tell us exactly what one.
Before we get into local beer news, first and foremost, we had a comment from Winter is Coming, which asked if anyone's had Cameron's Whiteout Savant yet, and if so, how is it? I had it last year at the beer festival that we did. Actually, Kyle brought over a full pint glass of it right at the end, handed it to me. Now I'm not technically allowed to drink at the festival, so the second my liquor license lapsed, he handed me that pint and took a sip, and I'm like, this is really good, and he started talking to me. He's like, yeah, it has this and this, and I just chugged the thing back, or you could just chug it. So I don't remember much except it was good. I want to get some bottles of it. I know the brewery's already sold out of it, and I know so far it hasn't hit Niagara at all, and it's not intending to, so I'm going to see what I can do to get some. It's actually a good price, too. It's only $5.95 a bottle, so great price for it.
It's a bomber, then?
Yeah.
All right.
It is a good price.
So local beer news. Last week we actually talked about something that would be good for you there, Big E, which was Motor Craft Ales is expanding.
Oh, they're expanding?
Yep. They're going to actually go out and get their own brewery spot instead of just doing it in the basement of the restaurant.
That should be interesting.
First and foremost, we have Phillips launches a contest to rename Coolrophobia IRA. So just a month after they released it, they thought that naming the beer after the phobia of clowns wasn't nice to people, so they're putting out a contest to rename it. You can put your entries in on their Facebook page until April 3rd. The short list of finalists will be voted on by the public until April 10th. The winner will get 2 round-trip tickets from Vancouver to Vegas with 2 nights in a hotel and a pair of tickets to see Cirque du Soleil. Good little contest.
I entered in just the red top red ale. You couldn't even order that beer with that name. What is it? Chlorophobia?
Yeah.
Just rolls off the tongue. It's a good beer, though. It's good.
Oh, Yukon Gold. Yukon Brewing's Yukon Gold English Pale Ale will be available in Ontario at the LCBO now, too, at $7. Sorry?
I picked up a bottle today. I was just going to say it's $7 for the bomber.
Yeah. I'll see if I see it around here. Who knows? I haven't been to the LCBO in about 2 weeks now. I just keep watching to see if Whiteout ends up anywhere around here. McCausland is releasing the St. Ambrose Session IPA this week. So another Session IPA coming out. How many people want Session IPAs? There's so many of them now. There's so many.
We just put one out this week too.
Yeah, I saw.
Or last week, I think it was. But we're bottling tomorrow, so.
Six Corners. It's something that makes a joke about Chente.
Exactly.
What's it called?
What's it called?
Yeah, what's the pun?
It's called work avoidance.
Okay, so there's no pun on that one.
No, you basically just put off doing all the work you have to do to drink it.
So Six Corners Brewworks launches in rural Alberta this spring. In Okotoks, Alberta, wherever the fuck that is.
No idea.
Yeah, you're the one in Alberta, so that's great.
Never heard of them either.
Bob Cajun Brewing is launching as a contract brewery. I don't know where they will be brewing out of. They will be putting out... Hey, they made their debut as part of the Kingston Beer Festival with Bob Cajun Pale Ale, which is a 4.2% 42 IBU Pale Ale. So, yeah. Contract brewer in Bob Cajun. Good for them. And that's where we would sit.
You missed a big one.
What did I miss?
Did you see Brimstone's page today?
Oh, Brimstone making their April Fool's joke of changing their name.
Oh, is that a goddamn April Fool's joke?
Oh my god, Dad. Oh, Dad. No.
Fuckers. On the internet, too. Oh, man. When I was looking at the name of this place from Bermuda, I couldn't believe it either. Actually, Triangle, Brimstone. What is this shit?
Oh.
You know what? A couple years ago, the girl I was seeing told me she was pregnant, and I didn't realize it was April Fool's either, and I got meat for a day, too. Puking and stuff. Oh, it was terrible.
Oh, damn.
Well, that one is not a nice April Fool's joke. But I mean, to segue because of you bringing that up into something that I always hate even going on the internet on April 1st. Because it's no longer pranks. Every company tries to think up the stupidest thing they can say or do, and that's it. You have this that came out on the Mom and Hops network, and there were some brewers that were hosting it thinking it was true, even though the end of the article says April Fools. Ontario halting all brewery licensing until January 2016. They ended up having to put April Fool's Day in brackets after the fucking headline because people were thinking it was true, and they were all freaking out everywhere. Like this, I hate the internet and people on the internet, especially on April Fool's Day.
The funny thing is, I showed a bunch of people at work, and they were like, "I can't believe this," and I'm like, "Well, I'm just thankful I have one of the original shirts." God damn it!
You got hosed, boy.
Well done, Brimstone, and well, not even well done, Brimstone. I should have known better, I guess.
Yeah, you don't read anything on the internet on the 1st, ever. You just stay off the internet. If there's a news article that was posted on the 1st, you just ignore it.
I thought it was a leap year. That's my excuse.
Did you see Molson did their bagged beer this morning? It's like milk in a bag, but beer in a bag.
No, I did not see that.
Yeah, I was having to explain to people why carbonation in a bag probably wouldn't work.
And people didn't get it? They didn't get it? We were like, oh, this will work, this will work.
Well, they figured why is wine in a bag work but beer doesn't? Because beer will explode if you shake it.
I want to hear your guys' theories on this one quote from Michael Jackson. This is from 1986. So, almost 30 years ago. Yeah. Anyway, a brewpub revolution promises to liberate Canadians from the grip of tide houses and state monopoly liquor stores. Michael Jackson, Pocket Guide to Beer, 1986. Because he did think that at that time we were going to have a brewpub revolution because a lot of brewpubs were starting to pop up. Thoughts on that quote?
I think we weren't quite ready. We weren't quite ready for it. The internet wasn't around yet to let beer guys get together.
Well, we're long past the time of the internet, and we still haven't had this brewpub revolution.
It's more of a U.S. thing, though, isn't it? Like U.S. everywhere seems to be brew pubs.
I don't know. It depends, though. I mean, what was this in the '80s, late '80s? He wrote that.
He wrote that in '86. Yeah, so that's when Welland would have had their brew pub. There would have been a couple more in Toronto. Amsterdam and GLB would have been open as brew pubs at that time.
I mean, define revolution, I guess. I mean, there's a lot of them. Every small town seems to have one now. Even down my way, you take the littlest towns, and they're brewing on premise. So
yeah, you guys have motor ales, for instance.
Yeah, we have other ones too. Down in Leamington or in Kingsville, they have a place called I don't know. There's another one, something Goose or something. But I mean, there's little ones. You got Black Swan up in Stratford. You got places, like little tiny things. They're not necessarily big, but they're
great little place, Black Swan.
Yeah, they defined sort of the brew pub thing, right? And maybe the revolution, it didn't happen as soon as he thought, but it's starting to happen. So
I'm not even sure what we're talking about because I just checked in all these beers under Brimstone's new brewery name just to find out it's an April Fool's joke, so now I'm going back and deleting them all. So that's just great. I'm joking. That's my joke, I guess. Fuck.
No, I think you're telling the truth.
Every year, I never get wiser. There's no wisdom in this beard, I'll tell you that.
no, yeah, I think your beard's on too tight, buddy. Maybe time to get it lopped off, right?
Right after the Albino Fest, I'm getting rid of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just wants to get his hair in some people's drinks first, and then he'll get rid of it.
Yep, basically. I'll save you all a lock. I'll beard mail you guys some.
Oh God, that hurt. Okay. Okay. Coming down with something, boys. It's real deep in the chest too. It hurts. So we'll drink some more beer. We'll go on. We'll go on for the night. We have the lowest amount of viewers tonight ever, and I think it's because Lee's not here.
Everyone wants to come see the king of YouTube, or BeerTube.
It's like the king isn't here? Fuck, we're not going to go there.
That's right.
Oh.
He also makes good baby videos, too.
I did share these Adirondack chairs that I really wish I had a bunch of. Adirondack chair, and it was such an easy thing that I can't believe I never thought of either. All they did was cut a slit into the fucking arm handle so you could put a wine glass or say a fucking snifter or anything into it and it would hold it for you. Beautiful, beautiful thing. Every beer drinker needs one of these. And yeah, I want them. I'm going to buy a bunch of them and make them myself, I think. And everybody was saying, nobody cares.
I think everyone's frozen.
Yeah,
I see Devin moving, I see me moving, I see you moving. I think everyone else is frozen.
It just sounds like someone's underwater for me right now.
Yourself? You're underwater?
No, I'm not the one having problems tonight for once.
No, he's right. It does actually sound like there's a gentle bathtub gurgling in the background.
And I was saying I had the shower, but I'm not in the tub.
Maybe Joe.
We got one
Joe's
clean.
fine.
Probably Joe.
It's always Joe.
It's probably Buffalo thawing out after they got fucking demolished this winter.
Cartoon Buffalo.
So there was a great page that I found that has all these old trademarks that never ended up going anywhere. And one of the trademarks, the title trademark for this page was a thong diaper, which I thought was amazing. But who cares about that? There was a beer umbrella. So basically, it was like the first beer cozy because this came out before beer cozies, and it just has a little clasp that goes around the bottle, and then there's a stick, and the umbrella goes over the bottle. You can put it down to cover the mouth and flip it up to drink it. It's actually pretty awesome. I can't believe it didn't go anywhere. I would have one of those.
It's brilliant.
And the umbrella even says beer on it. I love it. I want it. I want it so bad. Oh, everybody's gone again. How is it that my internet's actually the only internet working tonight?
It's not working so great on my end.
Okay. I hear you okay. I don't have an issue.
Interesting. Anyway, another thing that came out, which I thought of our good friend Devin whenever I saw this, is
oh God, April Fool's beer jokes.
Sarnia police have said don't bring knives or beer cans to court. Apparently, they've been confiscating. a lot of beer cans from people that are going into the court system in the London area.
I'm not in London anymore.
I know, but I just thought of you when you were there. I'm like, that's something he would do. He'd go to court and bring a beer can with him.
You should see what they do in Windsor.
That's a long, boring day.
Yeah, I just think it's hysterical. They have a picture of everything they've been confiscating. It's like fucking pairs of scissors and beer cans and everything else. It's actually pretty good.
They probably confiscate a lot of the same shit they confiscate at the airport. That people shouldn't be trying to bring through metal detectors. And then probably a bunch of sex toys, too.
Always
you're
great.
in court. Why not? You're in court. Why not? Probably missed the part where we said where everyone's drinking, but I'm doing a taste test between this year and last year's Whiny Bastard.
Ooh, tonight. Somebody's going to get himself drunk tonight.
Yeah. Well, I did the other Whiny Bastard earlier, so it's already gone through my system, but I'll still probably get drunk.
Is it nutty?
No nuttiness. No nuttiness in this one. But, no, I actually kind of like the one this year's. I'm assuming it's probably just a freshness issue, but I think...
Wait, fridge freshness or general freshness?
Baby, not the roads want to know when you talk about a freshness issue. If you with no freshness, baby.
Shut up,
come on, that feel it.
No, I think this year's one's a little bit better just because I think you get a little bit more of the bourbon, whereas last year's one, it kind of seems the wine's completely taken over. It's still excellent beer, but just I think the fresh one's a little bit better.
Talking about freshness issues and everything else, I think there may be a war that's going to brew this Easter. I actually was just going through my fridge.
Joe and Lee?
No. Between me and my one of my in-laws. I was just going through my fridge today to pick out beer for tonight, and one of the things I noticed was my one bottle of Bring Out Your Dead is not in the fridge anymore.
Oh, dude.
So
you gotta kill him. There's just no way.
Then I went through my stack of empties, and in the very bottom case of big bottles, it was hidden in there. So, yeah. I think there might be a war starting on Friday.
You gotta kill him, and no court's gonna convict you for that. It's just how it is. It's like if you stole one of Joe's Cunahan beers, you'd flip out and...
No, Bring Out Your Dead is way more overrated than Cunahan beers. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
But it's a bargain.
Different. It's aged in cognac barrels. Who cares?
But it's a bargain at only $13 a bottle. $13 Canadian a bottle, compared to like $300 a bottle from Cunahan.
It's true. What's your guys' dollar? Is it like 40 cents now? Something like that?
It's not good. It's not good.
It's like 82 or something like that.
So basically, when I come up to the fest, I'm gonna live like a king for a weekend.
I mean, if I was to send $100 to the U.S., I'd be sending 123 Canadian.
So basically, you come up here from the festival, you can live like a king.
Yeah,
he's buying for everybody. We have Eric in for the first time. So good day, Eric. How are you?
Yo, hello, everybody.
What's up, Eric?
Yo. Speaking of Canada, I'm going to be in Montreal at the end of the month, so I don't know what to expect out of that town and out of the beer in that area. Looking forward
a lot of
to
good beer and a lot of French.
Yeah, and ask you were here. You would spend to Montreal quite a few times. So
there's Deux de Ciel. The Brasserie de Montréal is really good too. Those are the only two that I have actually bought the beers from outside of Montreal, and McLaughlin. Other than that, yeah, Ewart would be able to tell you the bars and stuff to go to or the shop.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah, if you looking to go to a brew pub, yeah, Deux de Ciel is great. So does Benelux. That's on Sherbrooke, also very good. If you're looking to buy bottles, go to Peluso. It's Depanneur. Can't beat it in the city.
Gotcha.
So that's what I recommend. Those two spots. There's another place north side of the city that I went to once too. Really good beer and food. I just can't remember the name off the top of my head. Real small, new.
Eric, are you flying or driving there?
I am going to be flying out of Boston, going from Boston to LaGuardia to Montreal.
Okay. Because I'll say if you're driving, then you can hit up Hill Farmstead and all the specialties
Exactly.
and all that great stuff.
Yeah, I live in New England, and I have not been to those crazy exclusionary places for beer in Vermont where you gotta like basically reserve a spot in the line with cars to get in there.
Yeah, it's difficult.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
not that bad.
it's not that bad, but I think Hill Farmstead's location is just the issue for a lot of people.
Right.
Right.
I think that's got to be at least 6 hours from where I am. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So I've moved on. I've moved on to the Fang Boner, which I'm pretty sure the Fang Boner is a boner with a spike at the end of it, much like the guy who from the movie Seven when he's fucking the hooker to death. I think that's a Fang Boner. I think.
That's just my own homebrew that I just stuck on stuck a GLB label on, by the way.
Okay.
Enjoy.
What is the excuse me, Fang Boner? What did maybe
Fang Boner.
Did not compute the Fang Boner.
It really is a Fang Boner.
Oh wow.
It's an India Brett Ale.
So it's an IPA with Brett?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
You know, just like
it's an IBA.
That's a big thing here in Canada now that I'm thinking about it. I think that Ontario has like 6 of them, to be honest with you, at least, right off the top of my head. I mean, the Barnyard IPA was one as well. There was the...
Oh, there was Brett in that? I didn't taste Brett in that.
Yeah, there was Brett in that.
Oh, well.
And then there was the one from Block 3. There's the one from... I can't even remember them all now. I could go through my list, but there's so many of them right now that are out there. It's kind of strange. It's Brett's. You know, we always talk about the waves in craft brewing, and playing with Brett seems to be the new wave right now. Let's just put Brett in everything and see what happens.
Well, I guess the session IPA craze has passed.
Unless you're McLaughlin getting into it at the very end. Talking about the session IPA class, the thing. I'm actually glad to know that I wasn't the only one that thought that way, Greg, about the cruiser.
Yeah, it faded pretty quickly, I thought, on that one.
I had a bottle the same day I bought it, and it was fucking awesome. And then I reviewed it like a week later, and I'm like, wow.
Unfortunately, a lot of the hops that the session IPAs and session Ls use, they fade quite quickly.
And because they're low ABV, there's nothing to protect them either, so they're gone rather quickly.
Whereas like a double IPA can, you get them a couple months old. I mean, you can still get the essence of what they were supposed to be. Where if you drink a regular IPA 2 months old, probably not.
I mean, that's
and
why
then you drink a session IPA 2 months in.
That's why I'm a big fan of Crazy Canuck, or Canuck as the weirdos call it nowadays, because I find whenever you have that, even if it's like a month or 2 old, it's usually still pretty good. Like, it's usually more or less the same. Like,
because you're a homer, Greg. Let's be honest.
I'm a homer? Or a homo?
No, whoa. Time out, bro. This is not Indiana. Settle down.
There we go. Marvin is on his way in.
Who is? Oh, the guy from Jamaica. Sweet.
Oh, good.
Jamaica, wow.
Yeah, straight from Jamaica.
Yeah, it's an international audience now.
What do you know?
There we go. There's your invite, Marvin.
Got to get packing some tomorrow night and got a bit cleaned up since I got off work not too long ago. Should I just exit the chat and then just follow on YouTube, or what's the best way to?
My name is Fuckface.
Keep comments going.
Wait, what are you trying to ask us, Dev? If you should.
I think he's getting tired
I'm
of
going
Joe, so he wants to
I'm
head
going
out
to
of
come to Niagara Falls and again not come and say hi to Chad because that's what I do.
Okay. Normally, I try and chime in on the chats, and no one fucking reads anything I say. So I'm just trying to say I'm leaving.
Right.
I can take up a space on this if you want. And just go shower and ignore you guys. Do you?
I do, and I cherish every word of it.
And then 2 weeks later, you fucking tell everyone about it?
I never see anything. I never see anything you post, even when I'm checking the comments too to make sure he doesn't miss anything. I never.
Yeah, I post all sorts of stuff. Like last week, you guys were talking about space hops, and I named off like a couple you didn't even list.
I wonder if you. I wonder if for some reason you fall into the spam filter because I won't get a notification for that until I go to the video itself.
Dev, I'll try to keep track of it. I will do my best to ignore all of your comments.
Perfect. Yeah, if you could just take over as the lead for the night, that'd be great.
I'll read them to myself and then just won't share it with anyone else.
Yeah, and then tell me about how good Bong Rock is. That'd be sweet.
I could do that.
Great.
Definitely.
All right, guys. Well, it was nice to chime in for a bit, but I gotta get stuff going for the weekend.
Okay, you tell Steve I hate him.
I will.
And that he smells funny.
Hey, you know how we were just talking about Brett being the new big thing?
Yeah.
Tomorrow, we're releasing a collaboration brew with Shacklin's that's our Brett Porter. So, I guess
10 out of 10?
Maybe
9.75. 9.5.
I haven't had anything really from Shacklin's, to be honest with you, so I don't know. But the Clifford Porter is amazing.
Oh, yeah. Quite good. But yeah, maybe a bottle will end up down in Niagara. We'll see what happens. Anyways, everybody, I'm gonna tune in, but I've got to go.
Alrighty. Bye.
See you, boys.
Hey.
What's Marvin trying to share with us there?
I think he's just probably watching TV, I'd imagine. Or listening to the radio.
Either way.
There's probably just parties all around him. I have no idea. I really don't know what's happening.
Hey, what happened? I don't get an invite. I don't know what's happening.
Oh. Brad hates Jamaica. He's turned heel right now, baby.
Turn heel. I've always been heel. What are you talking about?
But see, if you mute him, then what happens is no one else can hear him.
I just tried to unmute or mute him.
Yeah, he unmuted himself and then you remuted him. What do you think?
Don't me.
There we go. That wasn't me that time.
Okay.
When
I
he
don't
comes
know
back,
what's
just
going.
let him know that it's kind of out of hand. Like it's
Yeah, I don't know what's going on in the background there, Marvin, but you have something coming through, and your microphone is dying whenever you try to talk.
Oh, let me fix it. Hold on. Is that better?
That's much better.
Berserker's ready to play some hockey. Let's do this.
Yo, what's going on, Berserker?
Do this.
Don't worry, I expected that from Bruce. He must be of iron, right?
He must be what?
Did you say Ohioan?
Yes.
No, he's Canadian. The only Ohioan guy I know of has a skull.
Ohioan.
Now I know why.
That's the Alberta flag.
I'm pretty sure when he muted you too, because you didn't hear it, he said "fuck Red Stripe" pretty loud. I thought.
I would say the same too. No, I would say the same.
You guys like the Jamaican rum?
Yeah. Hey, when you grow up, and that's a golden standard, you know. But now it's not anymore.
Hey, I'm a big fan of the Appleton 12 myself.
Yeah, Appleton is not bad.
I mean, I'd like to try the Appleton 50, but it's like $5,000 over here, so not going to be buying a bottle of that anytime soon.
No.
I want to get some. I've always wanted to get some like Highland Park 40, but it's the same thing. It's like $7 or $8 grand. Never happened.
You guys are crazy. You asked me about rum. You should be asking me about how is Jamaican girl. That's what you want. You shouldn't want rum. You should want a girl.
I want a bird pepper. That's what I want.
Ooh.
Hey, Ripton used to bring me back bird peppers all the time. I made so many fun sauces with them. I want more. Okay. Now that I've drank 2 bottles full of Brett, I'm going to have the fucking liquid diarrhea in the morning.
Oh, yeah.
Let's move on to something else. Let's do, because Marvin's here now, the Royal Jamaican Ginger Beer.
That's a good beer. I like that. And I'm
I
not
actually
even a
do
huge
too.
fan of ginger.
Is it available in Jamaica?
I don't know if it's available in Jamaica, but it's made in Jamaica.
No, it isn't. It's not Jamaican.
So, Chad, are you not doing video reviews anymore?
Product of Jamaica.
Where does it? RJ Rums and Spirits, Spanish Town Road. Oh, I need to call them.
Yeah, 24 Spanish Town Road in Kingston. Yeah, it's right with you.
214 or 24?
214.
That's Red Stripe.
Okay, there you go. Red Stripe makes them.
Hooray!
It's good. It's good. That's all that matters. It's actually the best. It's actually the best ginger beer I've ever drank, to be honest with you.
Well, because it's kind of a real ginger beer. Like it actually like grates your taste buds.
Yeah. We're hearing the news again.
For me?
Yeah.
Oh, hold on. Let me put you guys on mute.
So I'm going to read through this list here. This is the top 10 microbrews in Canada, apparently, according to this website. This website is Sharp.
So Black Oak's number one then, right?
Yeah, you know. They seem to be very IPA heavy. Everything seems to be IPAs. Number 10 was, well, I don't know if it's number 1 or number 10, but the first one they have listed is Bellwood's Witch Shark. I don't like Witch Shark myself. I know a lot of people that do. That's fine. Then Propeller Brewing's IPA. Half Pint's Little Scrapper IPA, which is kind of nothing, but hey, whatever. Parallel 49 Brewing's the Ruby Red there, the Gypsy Red Woman there. Mill Street Organic Lager.
What? Alright, just stop reading this list.
No, you'll like the very last one on here. Don't worry, you'll really like it. Picaroon's Dark and Stormy. Thor's Hammer, Thor's Hammer from Central City. Never had that. I'm kind of curious what that is.
It's pretty heavy duty. It's a barley wine, English barley wine.
Is it?
Excuse me, are you in a wall?
He's in his castle being very happy right now.
Did you see just green screened us? That was pretty fantastic.
Driftwood Brewery's Farm Saison. And what else do we have? I think the next one, My Bitter Wife from GLB.
It's a good one.
And then lastly, ready for this one, Joe? You'll love this one. 10 best microbrews in Canada. The last one, Goose Island Sophie. Sorry, Matilda. Goose Island Matilda.
Oh, so this is actually just available in Canada, not...
I guess so. I don't know.
It's
a good beer, but
That's the most retarded list ever.
Too bad they don't
I've
too bad they don't just list like Coonahan meat on there.
I have a sneaking suspicion whoever wrote this list is from the Maritimes. That's the only way I can explain 2 Picaroons beers showing up in a top 10 ever.
That makes sense. A Goose Island showed up here. It's on the list. It's good though.
What did you get, Goose Island, showing up there? Just the Sophie and the Matilda, or did you get other stuff?
We got the Sophie, we got the Matilda, we got the Pepe Nero, and a few of their regular brands. I don't know what they got out of
like the 312 and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Well, I think they have a 312 wheat and palate, but yeah.
Just depends on the store out here. I didn't notice them until a couple months ago.
I can't take you seriously. You're inside a freaking brick wall.
Very serious.
Not just inside a wall, it actually sounds like he's inside the wall.
Yeah.
Like he's talking to us through the little porthole in the wall.
He's just started playing some Pink Floyd for theme music. What is happening over there, bro? What is happening?
I'm in Jamaica now.
He's Jamaican.
Or as they say, Jamaican me crazy.
No, never do that. Unbelievable. This has gone downhill already.
I love it. Hold on, where's my Google effects? Let's help Marvin feel at home here. Where's my Google effects?
Oh, another news article came out stating that the top beer brands, so being the big guys, they're going to start listing their calories on their bottles, so that slowly becomes the norm. I really would still wish an ingredients list more than a calories list, but okay, calories is a start. Then Stephen Beaumont, who is a very well-known beer author, brought up a argument that if they start listing their calories, beer might take a big major dip in sales, because people are going to see these calories on there and they're going to go, oh man, we should drink gin and rum and vodka that's all clear and has lower calories, even though the calories are pretty close to the same. Not quite, but pretty close.
Yeah, except people fucking mix those things. How many people drink gin straight? They just mix it with
that's another argument.
Diet Coke.
I think his argument is somewhat right, but at the same time, do I care if the Heineken drinker switches to gin instead of Heineken? Do I really care?
I don't really care in general, to be honest with you.
No, I mean, but so two things, I guess. I guess three things. Do you care? Do you think it's a good step? And do you think his argument is valid? Do I care? Do I care? No. Do I think it's a good step? Yes. Do I think his argument's valid to a point? But again, I don't care.
I think it's only a good step as far as you think that information is really valuable to have on your can of beer. If you're so inclined to have, I mean, even just an inclination to knowing that stuff, sure. But I mean, I think that's an individual kind of preference. If I need to know how many calories and what I'm, ingesting in my beer. I mean, maybe, kind of like in America, maybe the major breweries like Miller, Coors, and Anheuser-Busch, that would be nice to have that more readily available because that's almost become not even just like a niche thing anymore. People are just drinking that stuff all the time. So maybe people would like to know that stuff with like what the
like I said, I really wish it would be more an ingredients list, but it is a right step. But I'm a 300-pound man. I don't fucking count calories.
Right. Any information that helps the consumer make a more informed decision or choice, I'm for it, because it should be on there. I mean, if you go buy a can of soda or pop or soda pop or whatever the fuck you want to call it, you have the ingredients on there, you have the calories, you have everything, right?
Joe, shut up. I don't want you coming in here with reason and sensibility. Get out of here.
It's just one of those things. It's like you have more information available on whatever you're buying, then you're going to make it more. You might look at it and say, okay, this has 150 calories, this has 100 calories. Well, that's 50 calories per can. I'm going to go buy a six-pack. Now I'm saving myself 300 calories, and you were to run on the bike or pedal the bike more or run on the fucking treadmill.
Well, most in America, when you buy ciders, a lot of the times they list all those ingredients. I think in America that's primarily because they're toting these things, and they really are. They're toting these things as being gluten-free. So if it's going to be gluten-free, well, why don't we just list all the ingredients?
Well, yeah, unlike you guys in the U.S., in Canada, you have to have ciders have to have all the ingredients.
Yeah.
And coolers have to have all the ingredients, but beer and spirits don't.
I'll tell you what. I don't think it will deter a lot of people from certain beers or moving on to different brands or going to alcohol, because I see people. The ciders have. You go pick up a bottle of like Woodchuck, which is probably the most well-known brand in America from America, right?
Yeah.
A regular fucking bottle that's like 200 to like 230 calories for one 12-ounce bottle, and people gobble that shit. They don't care. They're going to drink alcohol because they want to. There might be a few here and there, like health.
Yeah, you're gonna get the people that want to count calories and all that might switch, but they're switching to something that's pretty close to the same without realizing.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Like most fast food places have, their calories and fat content available, maybe not in the restaurant, but online or something. And I go out of my way not to look at them because I don't eat fast food that often. But when I do, I don't want to fucking feel guilty about it. I just want to fucking shove it in my mouth and enjoy it. And pretend it's healthy for me because it's got protein in it.
You like shoving things with protein in your mouth, eh?
I do like shoving protein things. Like Joe said earlier, I'm a homo.
I never said that.
Joe, you totally said that, you bigot.
No. I think a lot of people do drink alcohol or do treat alcoholic beverages as treats as well, as opposed to just get the shit faced or just drinking whenever they want. They say, hey, I did a workout today, and I deserve said alcoholic beverage. I did my fucking 3-mile run. I did whatever. This 200-calorie alcoholic beverage. time to go. So
I went to work.
what's that?
I went to work, made it home. I got a drink.
He earned it.
Earned it.
Before we go on to another topic, I'm going to share what the King of Beer Tube said, which means he could have been here because he's still chatting. He could have been here talking. But anyway, he said that it seems that Beerzerker and Bradley are both having the same drug trip.
They are from
local.
Alberta. Mm-hmm.
I like that Jamaica is going around his table too. It's not just him that's showing; his table is showing.
Well, he brought his table with him on vacation. Why not?
Yeah, what the hell? Lee said he was. I guess Lee hasn't went to work yet.
Yeah, no, he works. He works later.
No, I know.
I just want to troll Lee now. I'm gonna troll Lee every chance I get because I'm like that. I'm mean.
We need to start a GoFundMe so he can come to the beer fest.
If I got my bonus before the beer fest, I'd pay for him to bust down here. But unfortunately, my bonus won't come until after the beer fest.
I thought it was less of a money problem. He just couldn't get the days off. He said.
That too.
Raise the ticket prices. It'll be like a sponsorship.
Oh my God.
Porta potties, guys. Porta potties cost. I gotta raise the ticket.
How about
price.
we do this? How about we say, Lee, I love you, but fuck the King of Beer too. I would say that, and then we'll raise money to get Brad out here because he actually is from Calgary, Alberta. He'd have to fly in, and there we go. He would replace the King of Beer too. I think that's what we should do.
Oh, Brad will fly in, all right.
Oh, he'll fly in all right.
Joe, this is treason. You know that, right?
I don't care.
Beer Tube will have you flogged for this.
That's cool, because I'm reading a comment from him that said, I hate you all. Well, mostly Joe. Actually, just Joe. Fuck you, Joe. So I feel like I should return the favor. I did.
No, there's a mutiny brewing. Don't get it twisted. Dissension in the ranks. I don't know who's going to claim the throne, but
It'll be the Beards versus the Baby Faces.
If you subscribe to Rich's World Beer Tour, right, viewer?
Yep.
Today he posted a April Fool's Day video that said he signed a contract with AB InBev to support his channel and everything, and he called himself the King of Beer. He left out the two part, but I think he's kind of, that's him and Lee.
I was gonna say,
I understand that.
There actually is that giant Samoan guy from from New Mexico that calls himself the King of Beer.
Mm-hmm.
There's a giant Samoan guy
Beer King.
in Mexico.
Freaking born, he's like no tomorrow.
Oh, really?
No, no, it's Beer King.
Is that the one that? Oh, okay. Yeah, I know what you guys talk.
It's all the 40 challenges.
Wow.
Yeah, I would not call myself the King of Beer, period, around that guy. No.
He probably has it trademarked, to be honest with you.
I'm a big guy, and no, he is.
Beer period sounds disgusting.
Greg, you are so disgusting.
How about this one? You guys might like this. In the UK, Marston snaps up Thwaites. So Marston is just growing bigger and bigger. I mean, there's Marston, Witchwood, all those 1,000 pubs now, and now they own Thwaites as well. As long as the beer stays the same, I'm really glad about it. I mean, if Marston's gets a huge amount of distribution over here, so I'll see more Thwaites beers technically if this works out. And those English mix packs that come out at Christmas will have more beer selection in them because now Marston's can put Thwaites beers in. So I'm okay with that as long as the quality stays the same.
Yeah, we get a couple of them Watts breweries or whatever. They're for a pretty good price.
Yeah, they own 1,700 pubs. 1,700 pubs.
Wow.
How many pubs do you need in England?
Not at all.
I mean, England is pub culture where there's a pub on every fucking corner. But 1,700 pubs and 4 breweries now, all owned under the same name. They're getting huge. They're going to be like the next macro company just by buying up everything that's in the fucking UK.
I mean, I've never been to England, but I've been to Ireland before, and it's like everyone goes to the pub in the evening. Doesn't matter what day of the week it is. Everyone's in the pub. So I can imagine if England's similar, it's just, they need a lot of them.
And no, like you are correct. From everything I've been told too, Paul and Ken both went to England and stayed there for over a month with Paul's sister, and they were at the pub every night. And this is where I got my information about all the 2 to 4% alcohol beers that are apparently huge in the pubs, where all the English viewers get mad at me when I talk about it. And they're like, yeah, we would drink like 15 beers in an hour, it'd be perfectly fine, because they're all 2 to 3% alcohol, but they tasted amazing. It was awesome, and I want that. Canada has a big English push in our beer industry because we're from England, basically, most of us. Well, most of us are from the English expansion into Canada in some way, but we have such a big English flavor in our beers that I wish that we would see more actual true ESBs and actual milds and stuff. I want more full flavored 3% alcohol beers.
I agree with you, Daniel Harper.
Yeah.
See, I love a nice Scottish 70 or 60.
You know, my issue with sort of a lot of these session beers and stuff is I agree with you. I like to try them, but when you give me like a 2 or 3% beer and it costs the same as a 5 or 6% beer, I'm going to go to the higher ABV beer every single time because.
Oh, you're a drunk. That's it.
I am an
get
alcoholic. That's true. But it's like the same thing I always say with Bellwood Stay Classy and Bellwood's Wizard Wolf. You know, they cost the exact same amount. I'm going to go for the one that's 2% higher in alcohol because why the fuck not?
Wizard Wolf is a really good beer too. So I mean,
Wizard Wolf's excellent.
Excellently average.
Oh, shots fired.
Stay Classy beats the shit out of that beer.
No, Stay Classy is a really good beer as well. I'm just saying that they're both good beers.
No.
I'll take it. Stay Classy. I've never been a fan.
You just said you need everything to be like 40% alcohol, right?
That's true. Well, that's why I like Scotch and rum and all that.
Stop drinking beer then. Problem solved.
How's that start?
Don't get me wrong. I mean, I drink a lot of 10% alcohol beers. I drink them all the time, but I would love to be able to do like Beer Dweebs United and have a 12-pack of a 3% alcohol fucking mild that tastes full flavored, just sitting beside me and just keep drinking them all night. Instead of having to be sure that I don't get myself so drunk I can't get my kid to school in the morning because I'm hungover because I'm getting old.
Well, I think it's tough. I mean, it's really tough to get a 3% beer to have full flavor.
Chad, just do it.
If it was easy, I'm sure a lot of places would always make milds and have sessions all the time. And
it seems easy for the UK. It's just nobody here wants to try it. Because they're going to fuck up. They're going to fuck up on a few batches before they get it right.
I don't know. I just saw 3 different breweries in or around Western New York. I just saw 3 different English dark milds that are like 3.7, 3.4 just show up. I haven't tried them, but they're getting good feedback. So I think you'll see more and more popping up. I think you guys talked about the session IP thing. It's because people want the full-flavored beers under 5%. They want them. And because IPAs are so popular in the States, I almost think like session IPAs are English mild. That's kind of how I look at it. Where the English, like, more laid back, malt forward, not super in your... And then their hop character is obviously different because they use mostly English hops, so you get the earthiness and stuff. And a lot of craft beer drinkers now in America have been brought up on the citrusy, tropical fruit, dang, piney thing type of IPA. So when you see session beers now, you see more hop-forward session beers around here. So they're trying to do the same thing almost that they're doing in the UK, but they're doing them with IPAs. That's kind of what I get from it. I'm not saying milds wouldn't. I'm sure milds would do extremely well for people who don't like hop-forward beers and they want malty beers, but you haven't seen many places do that yet. It's probably just another step. Come the forefront in the future.
Lee is watching this while taking a dump, which seems appropriate, especially with Joe on the panel.
Is that what he said? Nice.
I always gotta poop when I see Joe.
What's Iron Maiden for percentage? That's mild. It's not real low though.
It's like 5.4 or something like that. I forget what it is exactly.
I thought it was 4 point something. But it's still it's not real low percentage.
No, it's not really that low at all. I mean, that high at all.
I thought it was.
They're actually considering that an ESB, to tell you the truth, so they're not even really considering that a mild. But I mean, if you've ever had that beer, it is. Yeah, it's 4.7%. So yeah, it is. I mean, it is very mild and it does taste very mild. But in my taste buds, I think you're better off for them. I mean, in American dollars, I'm spending a little over 5 and maybe 20, 30 cents, which isn't tremendously different from what you're paying in Canada. So I don't really think that you're getting a good. I don't think you're getting a good enough beer for the price that you're paying for just one of those bottles. You might as well get Fuller's ESB and call it a day on that beer style. That's
what beer were you guys talking about?
The Trooper Ale.
Oh, phew.
Yeah, Fuller's ESB. You can get a 4-pack of Tall Boy cans in Ontario for like $11.
I would never call Iron Maiden an ESB. That's an ESB.
The Trooper?
Yeah, the Trooper Ale. Yeah, they're calling that an ESB from there. That's what it says on Beer Advocate, but I believe that's what it says on the Robinson's Family Brewers website. I know that's what.
Yeah, it is listed as ESB.
That's what Bruce Dickinson of Iron Maiden was trying to create that thing as.
I just think I don't think it's a bad beer. I also don't think it's a good beer. It's just kind of a beer. But yeah, I think Eric's right. The price point was a little bit too much.
The price point is the worst part of that beer.
For a lot of English beers, though, especially in the States, that kind of is the issue. They come here and they're expensive. They are expensive to buy a lot of English, especially more of the harder to get English breweries. Like a couple of the bottle shops I hear will get some obscure shit, and it's crazy expensive. For just a normal, like, hey, there's a porter, a fucking, $5 for a 12-ounce bottle, or for $500.
The good thing about Canada is we're still part of the Commonwealth, so we actually get a tax break. That's why our English beers are so much cheaper here.
Way cheaper.
Well, good to know when I go to Canada. I like that.
It wasn't that cheap. Wasn't there that Beers of England thing at Christmas that was like $18?
$18 for the 6-pack, 6-pint bottles, and they were all mild. None of them were over 5%.
Yeah, they do that in America. They have like I think it's called like a History of Scotland.
Yes, the historic ales of Scotland. You get 3 of the 4. The one you never get is the Kelpie ale, which is the seaweed ale.
Mm-hmm.
But they're all good beers too.
I'll try a seaweed ale.
I do. I want to try everything, man.
Yeah, I'd want to try it. I like seaweed.
I want to jump on everything. I don't like seaweed. I
like those seaweed crackers.
If I'm in a river or something and seaweed touches me, I freak. I'm a 300-pound baby. Then I'm a 300-pound tattoo-covered fucking.
What do you think? It's like a shark or something? Get them molested?
I don't know. Something must have happened when I was a kid. I don't know because I actually lose my shit. Like I can't even swim anymore. I almost drown if it touches me. I freak out.
Maybe Thoughts will bring in some English miles. That'd be cool.
My two big phobias, that and the My Buddy doll, because my mother made me watch fucking Child's Play.
Yeah.
My mother made me watch Child's Play at like 7 years old while my little brother had a My Buddy doll. So I was fucked for years. I couldn't even take a shower. I'd go into the shower and I'd think fucking Chucky was coming to kill me. It was fucked up.
The thing that scares me in rivers and like ponds and stuff is those. I know they don't reside in Canada, but those damn little fish that are in the tropics that'll fucking swim up your urethra, and you have to get them surgically removed.
Well, don't piss in the pond.
It's a pond. I gotta piss in it. It's what I do. I can't be in a body of water and not pee in it. Come on.
You make me a sad panda, good sir. Now, there is another article out here which is actually kind of funny because Niagara are kind of the same thing. They both went from being nothing to being like booming beer scenes, and they both became a booming beer scene for the same reason. And this is a travel and leisure.
Niagara Falls got CBS on tap too?
No, I'm talking about just breweries in general.
How y'all doing tonight?
Completely ruined. We're done.
I thought I was going to be offline before he got here.
No, there's an Ohioan.
Yeah, there's not enough Ohioans in here, baby.
There you go, Marvin. If you want to know what an Ohioan is, he has his hair slicked like Elvis and thinks he's Elvis.
It's all doing impersonations,
baby. I don't
I'm
think
bringing
I
back
know
Dr. Joe.
Baby, I know.
And he drinks a lot of great beers from Michigan.
Ethan Flair, what are you doing, baby?
Anyway, this travel and leisure article is about how abandoned buildings created Buffalo's booming new beer scene. And I find it funny because Niagara and Buffalo are the same thing in that abandoned buildings are what caused it. I mean, Oast House took over an abandoned friggin' an old barn. Silversmith took over an old church that was also a antique dealership. Brimstone took over an old church that nothing was there at. The college, the Niagara Teaching College, they planned that, but they just took over a field that nobody was using for anything. There is a
So
new
basically,
brewery
all the
opening.
religious farmers just left.
I was gonna say they took over a lot of churches, baby. What's happening? Everyone becoming atheists? I don't understand. In Buffalo, it's abandoned warehouses that are going, not churches, baby.
And the best thing about the abandoned warehouses going is that you actually have the size to expand right away. Unlike these guys that are basically set. They can only get as big as the building allows. And because most of these breweries that are in Niagara-on-the-Lake, say both Oasthouse and Silversmith, you're not really allowed to edit the size of the building. The size of the building is the size of the building, and that's all you get because Niagara-on-the-Lake has weird fucking bylaws about historic buildings, and they're both in historic buildings. So they are as big as they're basically allowed to get.
Oasthouse is historic?
Yeah, it's an old...
Just because it's old doesn't mean it's necessarily, it's got to be on the registry, and I can imagine the Silversmith one would be, but...
Well, again, in Niagara-on-the-Lake, basically everything in Niagara-on-the-Lake is considered historic. You're not really allowed to edit anything without the town council saying, okay.
Cities are like that, but there's still an official registry for things like that, though. So, it's probably fair, but...
Historically overpriced and overrated.
You know what? Oasthouse has the same problem Silversmith has because their clientele are basically tourists. Or rich people that live in Niagara-on-the-Lake. They overprice their beer. But if you're sitting in the bar and you're drinking from the tap, the prices are actually really good. But if you're trying to take a bottle home,
right?
Yeah. If you're trying to take a bottle home, yes, very overpriced. I mean, I can sit at the bar and get that $6.50 fucking German Stein full of black lager for $6, or I can buy a $6.50 bottle to take home for $9. Which one am I going to do? I'm going to drink the fucking beer at the bar. Now the same with Oasthouse. If I go there on their nights that they have actual food there, when they have El Gastronomo there, I can get a pint of their saison for $5, or I can buy a bottle of it for $13. Which one is better for me, right? Like,
yeah, that's true. But I'm sure some of those prices have to do with the fact that they have the cost of rent in Niagara-on-the-Lake, the cost of keeping an old building running, because that is more expensive. And to be frank, while people like going into old buildings, it's kind of the hip thing to do.
They're not paying rent. They're paying taxes because they fully bought out the buildings, both of them.
No, you still have your your overhead, which is your building. Yeah. It's
in Niagara-on-the-Lake is
not cheap.
When people ask me why I went to Ridgeway for my festivals, okay? Here, my first festival, right? Here's my 4 places I looked for insurance at. St. Catharines, $1,100. Niagara Falls, $1,000. Niagara-on-the-Lake, $2,200. Ridgeway, $250. Where was I going to do the festival? Right? Where was I going to do the festival? Ridgeway, right there. Insurance at Ridgeway, $250. Here you go. So, I mean, the prices in Niagara-on-the-Lake are exorbitant, and I understand that. That's why I hate that they're there. But I love that they're there because they're great beer. But I hate that they're there because I do not want to ever buy a bottle there.
Who makes great beer?
You know, Oasthouse does make great beer. I mean, you weren't there because you were too hungover puking in the toilet.
Oh, but we went the next week. I went there. Oh, I went there. I was there. It was a great time.
Yeah, they make good beer. They do. I mean, it's great beer. Their main
It's a great beer, though. There's a difference.
Well, I don't think you had the Oak Age Double or anything when you were there.
Yes, I did.
Did you? I didn't know they had that when we were there.
Yeah, when we went there, they had it. It was good.
With all the descriptions of beers, I kind of feel like I'm missing out a little bit.
No, you're not a little bit, not much. You're in fucking Ohio, where just random greatness hangs out on the shelf for like 8
Yeah,
hours.
I just got Deschutes' Jubel or Jubel, Super Jubel, whatever they call it.
Yeah.
The decade beer.
Did you say Super Jubel? I don't. What is that?
Yeah, that's what it says on the bottle. It says, in other words, Super Jubel. Like, you know, their Jubel Ale, or their Jubilee, or whatever.
I know Ohio levels. I'm just fucking with you. because you have a sweet mustache.
Oh, thank you very much.
But now you got the whole goatee thing going. It's really.
I'm trying to throw off a little bit of trying to throw you guys off just a little bit. Try to keep it fresh, baby.
You can no longer see Paul anymore. Like, Paul is not, or sorry, Paul. Brad. I called you Paul, so that's okay. Brad.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, Lord.
Worse than what Berserker's doing. You guys are having a ball.
He's just being himself.
Joe, you keep talking crap about everybody in here, baby. I'm gonna karate chop you and do that kung fu.
What the fucking honky tonk, man?
Listen here, Ethan Flair, you're doing nothing of the sort, Daddy.
There it is.
Do you
I'm
have
waiting
any
for that,
3 or 4 year old articles?
Is that a Southern plantation owner voice? Am I correct about that? Or
what is wrong with the racism this evening?
You know what? I'm the saddest about? I'm the
You're an
saddest
entrepreneur.
Marvin isn't talking with us tonight. He's just over there, quiet.
Who's over there talking? Not talking?
Marvin.
Oh, Marvin, baby, he's liking the conversation that's happening. He's chatting in this little group chat over here we got going on.
I'm blind. I can't read that group chat.
That is unfortunate. I asked Cat Williams, is that you? I kind of see it.
We got a pirate dog over here. All right.
Yeah.
If you guys
Berserker just doesn't care. He does not care.
If you guys want I'm drinking.
Greg, Irish Greg,
sorry.
came in and he just said, "Evening, gents, another great panel." And Joe, you can join in. I sent you 2 invites, so get in here, you motherfucking Irish bastard.
He's from Ireland. He has no idea how to work the internet.
It's true. It's true. It took me a long time too, and I'm only part. Anyway,
Hey, guys, quick one.
Oh, Marvin's there.
I am back. Is this chat promoted in any way, or we just hang out, or
Just hang out.
I promote it on Twitter and Facebook, and that's about it.
The reason why I was asking that, because I think that we could get a lot more people watching it, because I honestly find it very hilarious. And it just takes you to set up every Wednesday, we do it at whatever time, 8 o'clock, and create event, so that people know the same icon to go to, that they can watch it. And I don't know, we need to formalize. I know this is my second week, but I think we just need to formalize that a bit more, so that I can kind of, tweet or whatever, but I don't know what to tweet, and I don't know where the link to people to watch it.
The problem with the linking to is I don't get the link until I actually set up the chat itself.
No, you can do that. That's easy. All you need to do is set up a Google Plus account.
I have the Google Plus account. It's just until I open up the window that is the chat room itself, I can't get an actual direct link.
And I'll tell you how you do it. All you need to do is set up an event for next year. So the event will be next year, January 2017. Okay? 2 years from now.
Wow.
And what will happen, we will create a link. And that link will be permanent for the next 2 years. And so what you do is share that link to whoever you want. And once it opens up, everything starts to broadcast. Google it.
Yeah, but Chad doesn't know if he's gonna like beer in 2 years.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop liking beer. You're right.
He might be.
I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna be like, you know what? Fuck this beer thing. I don't want it anymore.
The reason why, because I get some messages on my YouTube account, like live show tomorrow at 5 o'clock. So I set reminder, and then at 5 o'clock I watch it. Something like that I'm looking for.
Baby, Marvin's coming in. He's 2 weeks old to this chat, and he's taking it over, baby. I'm in charge. I'm setting everything up.
Apparently, he's the new king of beer.
No.
Mama.
He's dropping knowledge like Jim Sear, right?
Oh boy.
I don't think this is very hilarious, and we should not, it should be. I think that we could get hundreds of people watching it easily.
I agree with you, Marvin, but we do not thrive on organization here at BDU. That's not what we do.
Yeah, I mean, clearly,
formalized.
Ethan Flaff, like, hey guys, I got new articles, but they are 3 years old.
Well, I was going to say, it took us almost a year for us to actually have articles set up before we started.
Yeah, this is more organic. You know what I mean?
No, but the organic part is perfect. It's just the structure of when it will be and what time it will start. That's all. Everything else, no minutes, no what you're going to discuss. It's just the start time and the link to where to watch it. That's all I need.
I agree. That's a good idea.
So that means that if I want to say to my friends in Jamaica or wherever, hey, I'm going to be on this panel tomorrow on Friday, I can send everybody a link to watch it next week Friday.
Hey, you know who does that I actually used to follow? Joe D. Whoa, bing, 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 bing. He used to,
you know what?
share a beer.
My wife is off. My wife is off Friday, so I will set it up on Friday. I'll set up the event.
All I know is that you keep, like you said, you can do it. Like Joe D will do a share beer, and he'll do it like a month in advance. He'll set up each one, and he'll call it a share beer 3/15, 3/16, so on and so forth. But so the event's already set, and that you know that it's there. But you know, we get the same. The only thing is we get the same viewers and the same panels most of the time. So.
Chad, why are you making us all jealous and drinking better beer than us?
Even though the same reviewers and same panel is fine. What I want to do is that people are watching it. I mean, I could easily get 200 people watching it. It's not that hard.
Nobody's gonna watch us, baby.
You'll be surprised.
Coming in here, ruin everything.
You know what? We will set it up on. I will set it up on Friday, and I will try and get the thing out to people. And we'll see. We'll give them a chance.
I'm just hoping nobody knows me.
Just don't tell him, George.
Oh, fuck. Greg got in here.
Do two things. Make sure that they know Justin.
Yes, I did. And
going to be here.
That Irish bastard, you blind.
all Irish women are ugly. That's what Irish women. Anyway.
And an answer to a blind Santa Claus.
Gotta make sure Lee's here. Without Lee.
Hey, where's Lee tonight?
He's working tonight. He actually got called in for an extra shift. He's just here trolling Joe every once in a while.
Baby, there is no trolling me, baby. He's just making hateful comments, baby. That's not cool.
You know what? For hateful comments, we could actually make a brewery go bankrupt. Here we go. Heineken, if you don't like our light beer, we'll give you your money back. They actually did a TV spot. Go ahead, Marvin. Go ahead.
No, I'm not saying anything.
Oh, okay. I thought I heard your accent. I'm going deaf as well as blind. That's all. Anyway, their spokesperson is Neil Patrick Harris. So first off, that's amazing. And they did a TV spot where they talked about how this is the best light beer in the world, guaranteed. So yeah, we should all go try it at a pub and demand our money back.
Are they just talking about regular Guinness Draft?
No, Heineken Light. Draft. What the fuck are you listening to?
Well, I just read somewhere today.
I'm in my own world.
I just read somewhere today. Guinness. Well, they might have brought it out already. They brought out a new lager, and Heineken, I believe, are going doing a cider now.
Heineken cider. Ooh.
Oh, now, bear in mind, it was April Fool's Day, so I don't know how true that is.
Well, Guinness did do a lager. They did the American Blonde, which wasn't bad, but it wasn't good. Guinness also has their own cider. They have the.
No, Guinness is actually bringing out a lager, I guess. They don't have it out already.
The Smith.
I just know that Guinness Blonde, American Blonde Lager is here in North America.
Well, maybe that could be it, yeah. But I believe Heineken are supposed to be bringing out a cider, apparently. I don't know
what is the name. What's Guinness's Foundry? Foundry cider is Guinness's cider, and it's actually a really good cider.
Okay.
But Heineken cider, I'd be interested in trying it.
It's not hard to do a cider, no. In fairness, it would be bad to screw that up.
The big question on a cider, especially by a big guy, is it going to taste like I'm licking a condom or not? And for anyone wondering how I know what licking a condom tastes like, I have licked a condom.
We'll leave it with you.
Yeah. And that's so have I. So it must be an Irish thing.
Also another thing as well. But yeah.
Remember the we did county cider. We did county cider, and we were talking about how it was like an apple flavored condom the whole time. And then at the end of the video, we got the cartoon to chew on an apple flavored condom. He's like, "Oh my god, it's the same!" It was awesome. We fought for like 10 minutes about who was going to chew on the condom. He's like, "Fine, I'll do it."
That's Paul, is it?
No, that's James. The cartoon is James. Paul is the cantankerous cook.
That's the guy, yeah, the big ass motherfucker.
Yep.
Did you guys review the condom after licking it?
No, he just
Did you guys
said
like
that
all
it
do a
tastes the
train
same.
thing? Or?
No, we did not all try it. He just tried it. That's it. Just him.
No, never mind.
I have a nice fruity flavor, baby. I'm giving it an 8 out of 10.
I heard something totally different.
Yeah.
I'm glad that's what you said.
Now, I did recently share an article about Stone Ruination being taken away, and the gist of the article was that basically beer drinkers are destroying craft beer. What was it? How we're killing craft beer classics, the death of Stone Ruination, and how we all want more and this and that, and the whole article was pretty good. I've seen it shared in about 15 different places, but actually the Douchette had the best answer to the article I've read yet. And I do agree with him on almost everything. It is basically the way I was thinking, but it was actually funny because I saw this posted on a lot of beer blogs, and nobody actually had a thought-out response. And then here was the Douchette with a well-thought-out response that actually hit on almost everything. And he's over-romanticizing the inevitable growth and change in the industry. For one, its recipe, it isn't dying, so we can't possibly be killing it. Even if they don't release it to the public, a classy move that they did with pale ales, with the pale ale, they will just file it away and re-release it when the market, or at least the marketing, works for a comeback. And that's 100% true. On top of that, there are probably dozens, if not hundreds, of clones of the beer being brewed by the biggest culprit of this beer's demise, homebrewers, and folks who would actually consume this beer on the regular. It's a hypothesis of mine that along with the rise in craft beer enthusiasts, there have been a rise in homebrewing, and I agree wholly on that as well. And that's creating somewhat of a divide. It's not brand loyalty doesn't exist, it's that people don't consume multiples of craft beer, and again, I agree with that too. I mean, I can think of a few craft beers that I consume multiples of, and that's about it. But more and more people see that if they will be doing these things, it makes sense to try their hand at doing it themselves. The inverse is true for the ticking crowd, which I fall into, and technically I fall into as well. I don't drink enough of one beer to make homebrewing a desirable venture, and that also translates into almost never buying a 24 pack of any beer. Finally, the implication that this is even something to be sad about is ridiculous. The 2.0 is probably going to be awesome. And even if it's not, I have to question your dedication to craft if missing the one is causing you great personal anguish. Get over it and move on to new things. So yeah, I fully agree with him. And again, I think it was the best comment I've read on anything about that article. Was that you or it was sounds? Oh god.
No, I believe it.
That's when you're supposed to bow.
That was not me.
Right. Now, do you think that's a problem? That comment there? You think that's a problem that the people like us that like to drink a lot of this craft beer, we're not supporting? I mean, not supporting, but we don't really have loyalty or support to say this brewery or that brewery or the other brewery. It's just our mission is to want to drink a lot of different beers from a lot of different breweries and always try different things, not stick with the same one brewery.
Yeah, I think the exploration and adventurism in craft brewing does kind of hurt some breweries in a way. I mean, there are beers that I drink multiples of. I mean, I had multiple bottles of Epiphany No. 1 from Blackout. I had multiple bottles of Obsidian from Cameron's and Doppelbock from Cameron's. I mean, I buy multiples of Trappist 10 and Trappist 8 from Rochefort.
Yeah.
And I mean, there are beers I buy multiples of. Innocent Gun Original. But there are so few beers that I buy multiples of. When I walk into the LCBO, I go in once a week, usually with $30. If there's something I haven't had, that's the first thing I grab. After I get through what I haven't had, if there's anything new to try, after I've gotten through what I haven't had, if I have any money left, I'll buy one of my mainstays that are there. And there's very few of them that are available. And I do think that you're seeing that as a big problem in the craft beer industry.
Yeah.
I mean, Joe, how many times do you buy the same beer? You or Brad, all of us. How many times do we buy the same beer?
I think it's just the sheer
Brian, that's a
amount.
lot. This Red Rage, like Brad was asking me earlier about the starchy. It's a little bit squishy, there's not enough CO2 in the can, so squeeze them. But, like, I
You
bought
can't open those without making a mess.
Well, yeah, this one's underfilled though. Like, so squeeze it if it feels wrinkly. So yeah, believe it or not, it's the loose. You asked me earlier, and so it's not carbonated enough. But other than that, it's always been a hit for me. I love the Red Rage.
I haven't had one of those yet that wasn't overfilled. Everyone, as slow as I could open that beer, it's gonna make a mess.
That's crazy. Yeah.
I think it's the sheer amount of available breweries and beers that are different. I don't think it's actually more so craft versus macro, craft versus loyalty, or having loyalty within craft. You look at it like this. Your grandpa who used to drink beer, your father, when they, 20, 30, 40 years ago, how many beers were available? They all had a loyalty to a specific brand because they drank it since, they were fucking 21 or 18 or whatever.
And there was like 10 other beers to choose
and
from.
there was maybe 10 other beers. Maybe there was 3 or 4 that was readily available, cheap, whatever the case may be. Now you get into beer of legal drinking age a little bit beforehand, and there are thousands. And they all stare you in the face when you're at the beer store. Or even in Canada, there's 50, 100, 150, whatever. It's not as simple as just going, this is my favorite beer, I drink it every day. It just doesn't work for a lot of us. And if you talk about us specifically, I think Eric mentioned it's people that are doing reviews. We're all tickers. You can say you're not or whatever, but at the end of the day, you're reviewing different beers every day. You're ticking beers. You might not do it to be, I'm going on Untapped and I'm making sure I fucking take a 1 ounce sample of this so I can. No, but you want to try everything you possibly can or stuff that interests you, and typically that is different beers. So.
Well, yeah, and I mean, I am full-heartedly in that description of a ticker. I'm a ticker. I mean, I want to try everything. Doesn't matter who makes it. I want to try it.
And to be honest with you, go ahead, Brad.
You're talking about Ruination going to the right side, kind of. They've one-upped themselves too many times. It's not our fault.
Yeah.
You keep one-upping yourself, and Joy By and Rune 10, and how many? Well, why do I want to drink that when you make a much better double IPA?
Yeah.
And really, it comes down to one other thing that people have a tendency to overlook, or they don't put much stock into it, is ingredients. Hops. Hops have evolved from when craft beer started getting popular, really in the early to mid-90s, where you had Cascade and a couple other smaller ones. Now you have all these crazy varieties that are all these extreme flavors, tropical fruits, fucking berries, this, that. You can have, hops now that have chocolate and coconut and fucking coffee flavors. It's crazy. So someone who maybe got into Ruination in the early 2000s, like Brad was saying, Stone, here's Enjoy By, here's Delicious IPA, here's this IPA, here's that IPA. At some point, you're going, wow, that's a lot better than Ruination. What the fuck am I doing buying 6-packs and 12-packs and fucking entire cases of Ruination when I want this beer now because this tastes better?
Stewart's giving us the I hate Stone thumbs down.
Well, yeah, but what I'm saying, fuck Stone anyway, whatever. But it comes down to, I think it's a great idea by Stone. They're retweaking all their recipes because they know what their consumers want.
I mean, you think back on how many beers have lasted 10 or 20 years in the craft beer industry. And I mean, a lot of them are beers that are only aimed at hipsters right now. Like Mill Street's Tank House is still out there without changing its recipe. But that's one of the few. I mean, Headstock IPA from Nickelbrook changed its recipe. Crazy Canuck did change its recipe over time. They ended up using Citra hops once they could start getting Citra hops, instead of using the hops they were using beforehand. which were like Centennial, Warrior, all that stuff. Like a lot of breweries have expanded their recipes. Cascadian Dark Ale from Flying Monkeys is still out there, but the list isn't the exact same. The ingredients list. I mean, there aren't that many that have stayed the same, and it's because tastes evolve as time goes on.
Well, it's one of those things too where you look at some of the extremely hyped, popular, upper echelon, top of the food chain, and certain style beers like Pliny the Elder from Russian River, right? If someone mentions to you, hey, what's the best double IPA you've ever had, or would you recommend is one of the best, a lot of people would always say Pliny the Elder. Now you see people getting into craft beer and they drink Pliny the Elder and they go, man, that's really good, but you know what? I just had an IPA that is local that I enjoy more. Why? Because that beer was originally brewed 2003, and it's 12 years later, and the hop profiles that have changed since then for a lot of different beers and hops in general evolved. You see fucking what people perceive to be world-class beers being brewed in every state now, especially IPAs. You see all the East Coast with Heady Topper. I think Heady Topper actually is an older recipe too, like 2003, 4. But you see a lot of these fucking crazy beers now that can stand up or better than a Pliny the Elder. It's just how it goes. It really is.
Well, there's still like authentic styles that I haven't even tried.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of like box and stuff out there that I haven't even tried. So it's globalization. It's 2015. We can get all the different German beers over here. Like Helleborg. Shit, I haven't even tried it. I was lucky enough to try an alt beer. I can't find any more of those.
Yeah, there are just some styles that I think brown ales, for example, that just do not get love from micro breweries anymore.
Yeah, the only advantage of living in Ireland is that we have regular access to Belgian beers, German beers, because it's all within the European Union.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, in saying that, we don't have access to any Canadian beers outside of Molson.
And you get that because it's brewed in London.
Yeah, I know, but you get what I'm saying. You get my point.
Yeah, Eric, you mentioned the brown ales. It's one of those things where like I could name probably 3 or 4 styles that I don't gravitate towards. I can appreciate the style and I understand why they're popular, but like brown ales for me, Oktoberfest for me, they're there. They're drinkable beers. They're fine. But you'll find someone that gets like an Oktoberfest, they just lose their shit. I can check it, and that's fine. That they can do that. But you're right. A lot of American breweries don't do it because there's not much to do with those beers.
Either there are some beer styles, or there are some breweries. I don't want to say Stone, but since we're talking about Stone, there are breweries that will either just want to take styles that everybody likes and want to, reinvent the wheel, or potentially there are styles that maybe like a brown ale. I can't really think of one, for example, but maybe there's a brewery that wants to say, well, here's a style that nobody really does anything with. Let's, let's try to reinvent the wheel and do something different doing with the brown ale and see what people, maybe think about it.
Well, you know what? Before we go on to our next comment and our next topic, why don't we do this? Thanks to Eric and Joe bringing it up, and we'll go to Joe right away. But we'll start with Joe and go down the list. But 2 styles that you don't gravitate towards, and 2 styles that you wish you could see more of. So Joe.
That's fucking. Give me a second. Wow. Pilsners in general for me, I don't.
What?
Not for me. Yeah, Pilsner's not for me. Yeah.
Think about
Pilsners. And probably brown ales or, like I said, Oktoberfest. Just not for me. What I'd like to see more of? More Gozes. The like 3 or 4 I've had, I've really enjoyed, and they're perfect for spring, summertime. Fuck. That's pretty much all I can.
Salty dick beer.
Okay.
If that's what you taste, then that's what you.
So I guess I'm just going to go down my little playlist here. Next would be Berserker. 2 you don't gravitate towards, and 2 that you'd like to see more of.
I don't get a whole lot of barley wines up here. I'd like to see more, especially the American ones. Kind of a fan of those, and actually I really like really dark American hop stouts. Like I guess you call them Cascadian Dark or Black IPAs. I like those. Maybe some people got a lot of those, but I'd love to try lots of those. And, I like brown ales, but not the bland ones, so I can kind of go with that.
I'm on camera.
Pale lager.
I'm on camera.
So I guess like basically.
That's it.
Bland pale ales and shit I could do without, I guess. I think I'm done.
Alrighty, Bylogger. Gregory, are you around? Bylog? Canadian Greg? He went dark, so I don't think he's here. Who are you talking to?
Talking to me? It's my turn.
Come on, Greg.
That's what I'm talking to.
That's a good Greg.
Greg isn't here, so we'll move down the list to Brad next.
Two styles I don't gravitate towards.
Anything by Big Rock, period.
Yeah, the Big Rock style, and well, even like the Belgians. I haven't drank a Belgian, let's say a Belgian quad in quite a while.
We just reviewed
the Belgian
Stone one, bro.
Okay.
We just reviewed the Stone one like a week ago.
Belgian quad, because that is not whatever that was. I don't know what it was. And two, I don't know.
You finish one, should hold it.
Who I'd like to see more?
No?
That's a tough question.
Did we get frozen?
I mean,
just thinking.
for an Oktoberfest, I haven't seen, like your Zerker was saying, we don't get those, a lot of those styles whatsoever. We need to see a few more of those.
Okay. So, the Irish Bastard. Two you don't go towards and two you'd like to see more of.
Uber hoppy IPAs and fruit beers are two I don't go towards. And by Uber hoppy IPAs, no offense, I mean mostly American style IPAs. English IPAs, quite like. And as I said, fruit beers. And two I would like to see more of are traditional English malts and bitters.
Nice. Okay. Who's after him? That is Eric's next.
I'm trying to think about two different styles here that I do not gravitate towards. One I can think of right off the bat would definitely be a fruit, either a lambic brewed with fruits or use like fruit juice or something like that. I just can't get into that stuff, and I don't know if it's really considered a style, but I don't really go towards the pre-made black and tans. I just don't think that black and tans already made in the bottles work very well. I would love to see more saisons. I just don't think that there are a ton of saisons, at least in America, that are really Belgian, true to style, and all that kind of stuff. Because America likes to reinvent the wheel and that stuff.
It's funny you mentioned saison. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, and the other one is either like Dunkelweisens or some kind of dark wheat ales, because you always get lemony, light, refreshing wheat ales in America and in North America. You never get anything darker than that, and that's got all that wheat malt and those dark caramel malts that are refreshing, just the same as say a line of Google Shandy or something like a Blue Moon.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
Next would be Ohio Elvis.
Probably my least favorite two beers would probably be styles I kind of gravitate away from. Maybe is some lager beers, and that I don't really prefer too much. But probably have to say Mausen beers, just because they're so plain and they don't have that. They just got that bready malt, but that's all they got going for, baby. At least for the ones that I've tried. But two beers that I would really like to see around here are some more saison farmhouse ales and Belgian ales, and then I would have to agree with Joe and get maybe some Go style beers around here too.
Okay.
I just love that salty.
So hang on. Before
he likes the salty penis in his mouth.
You don't like lagers? Just lagers.
It's not that I don't like lagers. It's just that I just don't prefer them. I don't gravitate towards that.
Just
I
in
never
general.
think, oh man, I prefer a pilsner over. I mean, not so much a light lager.
Like a premium lager.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's talking an adjunct
You gotta
lager.
specify.
Even Yingling. Even Yingling, stuff like that, I can't drink that.
Yeah, so you're just speaking about an American adjunct lager. Just
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
I'd like to see some more English too. More European style beers. I need to get more into too. So.
Big E's up next.
All right, I do not gravitate towards pilsners and blonde ales, and malt liquor, of course. But it goes without saying.
What are those two going crazy about?
And then what I
just took a hit to my heart, baby.
But I really like to see more of, because I can get pretty much every other style, but I wish I can get more Flanders breads and English old ales. So English barley wines and old ales. So I see a lot of American, just, I don't know, there's not enough good English ones.
Doesn't the Coonan do anything for you?
Hey, you're talking about which I can see more of. Doesn't mean I can't get any.
You should just, that's the only one.
So, next is the man that has the worst beer selection of all of us, Mr. Marvin. But he still has us muted. I don't think Marvin wants to talk to us anymore. He's like, fuck you, Chad. Fuck your albino ass.
He said you better set up the next shows right now, baby.
For the next 2 years.
Now, baby.
I'll go on to myself then. For me, two beers I don't gravitate towards is Pilsners and Saisons. Saisons, huge here in Ontario, and they're all like 8% alcohol and all that. There's a few that are in the 4 range that's more stylistically correct. To true style, do I really care about that? No, I just would like to see some, because every time you buy a Saison, the back of the bottle talks about how it's for farm workers and this and that, and then they're handing you an 8% Saison. That pisses me off. You're not going to give your farm worker an 8% Saison and then hand him a Skype and say, go fucking plow my field for me. Like, you're not going to do that.
You would if you were in Ireland.
Yeah, true. Beers that I would like to see more of, in all honesty, a good brown ale, not the brown ale that you're seeing lately, but a nice good brown ale like the Eat Fist.
Proper English brown ale, you mean?
Yeah, a proper brown ale. And second, a proper English mild. As I said, I've said that several times. I'd love to see some more English mild here.
I think that's the problem with me with brown ales is I've only had a couple examples of the style that were good, like Samuel Smith's nut brown ale was fantastic. I loved it.
There's so few good ones out there that come out.
I have in my hand now probably the biggest bottle of beer I have ever seen in my entire life.
Ooh.
1 liter.
Swing top too.
Jesus.
1 liter swing top. Black Brewery in Kinsale, Ireland, stout. And it is 6.5% ABV.
Well, they know their clientele, man. Sell them a liter of beer, they'll drink it all.
Actually, we were speaking of Saisons earlier on. A couple of guys mentioned Saisons. I've never actually had one. I had a friend of mine, the same guy that gave me that bottle, actually gave me another Irish brewed Saison. And but it's get back to what you've been saying about Saisons, what you just said there, Chad. They're traditionally pretty low. I think a lot of people over here, especially this particular one, I think is like 7-8%. A lot of people over here are under the misconception that they're supposed to be that high.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that think that that's the normal ABV of them.
I mean, I actually said it to him when he gave it to me, and I said, no, I said, no, Saisons are only supposed to be like 3-4%. No, he says they're supposed to be like...
Well, see, the problem is that the BGCP, or the Beer Judge Certification Program, is ran by the U.S., and the U.S. wants everything bigger and better, and so the BGCP stylistic lines for a Saison is now 7 to 9% alcohol.
And what should it be?
Well, they just did it because that's what everybody was making anyway, so...
No, but traditionally, what should it be?
In like the 2 to 4 range, because that's what you gave your workers while they were working.
Yeah. It was meant to be refreshing, not get them pissed.
Yeah. It was meant to be something they could drink while they were out in the field working.
Another style I just thought of that I'm not a huge fan of, American Pale Wheat Ale. Fuck you, Ethan. American Pale Wheat Ale. The only reason I specify that is because Americans have a tendency to do wheat beers, even like they try to do like German style Hefeweizen and stuff like that, nowhere near as well as they do. But like the American Pale Wheat Ales, we're like, we're just gonna make an American wheat beer, guys. No, you're not. This is terrible.
It's basically
it's wheat malt. It's wheat malt and hops.
I'm gonna add to what Joe has to say. I'm gonna say pumpkin beers, at least for this year, because I didn't even care for them this year. I didn't even think to pick one up except pumpkin. But I mean,
I think the problem with pumpkin beers, there's so many bad ones, really.
Yeah.
Like or very mediocre.
You gotta think outside of the box when you go and try to look for.
Well, every brewery makes a pumpkin ale, just like every brewery makes some type of pale ale. And a lot of the pumpkin ales are nothing.
And
There are some amazing fucking things out there, but there's also some shitty fucking pumpkin beers.
Right. That's what I tried the Stone's Chai Spiced or whatever, and I felt like I was drinking a pumpkin or smelling a pumpkin beer. That's what it smelled like to me in a way. But
your palate is broken.
Winter is coming. Asked us a question. What do you guys spend normally weekly on beer? He used to spend $80 to $100 a week until he cut back. For me, I go into the beer store with I have an allowance. My allowance is $20 to $40, mattering how I did at work for that week. I go every Wednesday. Wednesday is the same day that the truck comes for my LCBO, so I'll see if there's anything new. So I have $20 to $40 a week that I'll spend. Basically, I only drink for Beer Dweebs United, and I drink for the review, and that's it. So that sets me up fine.
$80 to $120 per week.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of money, even in America.
Give me some of that.
A drug dealer? What is that?
I'm there with Chad. I'm about $20 to $40 a week. 48,
That's a good
45,
weekend in
depends on
Ireland.
what it is.
Yeah, I don't think I spend much more than like $120 a month. You know, like at the moment, like that's a lot.
Yeah, well,
Is that a lot?
once my new mortgage kicks in and my mortgage is $400 less a month, maybe I'll have more to spend. But right now, I'm budgeted to $20 to $40.
It's a case of KBS right there.
Yeah, if I have Mr. Bylog bringing me stuff, I don't spend anything until I get his stuff because that money goes to him.
Hey, Chad?
Yeah.
That's the saison I was telling you about. It's from the Wicklow Wolf Brewery here in Ireland, and it says on the bottle 6.5%.
Well, that's still better than most North American saisons. Most of the North American are over 7.
But here, tell me, am I supposed to drink this thing room temperature or chilled or what? I have no idea.
Drink it however you like it, man.
Yeah.
I've never had a saison before, so I don't know.
It should be higher because it's bottle fermented usually.
Yeah.
I don't know if they bottle fermented it, but since it's bottle fermented, it's going to be higher in carbonation. So I'd chill it for a little while, even if
I would say drink it cold and let it evolve.
Well, how big is the bottle?
500 ml. It's only a small one.
Okay, so yeah, I would only put it in the fridge for maybe 20 minutes, and then it'll still, as you're drinking it, it'll warm up a little bit.
It'll shock it.
Cool. Yeah.
But yeah, so what do we have? We have everybody saying $80 to $100 a week. It's huge. What do you guys spend though?
Not $80 to $100 for a week.
I mean, it depends. Like, I just went to the store this week and I only spent about $25 because it's all the same shit. I've only seen a couple different things.
I mean, there are some weeks that I'll go in and I'll spend like $70, and I'm not allowed to, but I'll do it because the money's in my wallet, not hers. But and then there are some weeks I'll go in and I'll spend like $5 because there's nothing new, so I'll just buy a couple cans of something to drink on this show, and that's it. And yeah, like so it evens out. It evens out. But yeah, it's basically $20 to $40 a week that I have.
But I feel like that's the best time is like when it's starting to change. You know, when beer's starting to change and it's starting to turn to like more springtime. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Just kind of exciting. I get a boner when I walk into the store.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things it's all dependent upon releases. Like, I might walk into the store and fucking, a dozen different beers have come in, so I want to try certain ones. You might walk out and spend $60 to $80, and then the next week I walk in and I might spend $10. I'm
kind of like Joe and Chad on that one. Like when I'm doing my grocery shopping, as you call it. I mean, all that I pick up now is if there's
Irish
something
grocery shopping, beer.
it's called-
Liquid red.
And spuds.
No,
Can't forget the spuds.
if I see something different, I'll pick it up. But that's about it. Like, it's unfortunate over here, but in our local stores, in our supermarkets where we can get beer, it doesn't change a whole hell of a lot. I mean, at the moment, there's coming into the spring, there's a couple of new beers coming out. Nothing too exciting, but as a general rule, it's the same stuff the whole year round.
Yeah,
No.
I do the walkthrough a lot myself, where you go into a liquor store, walk through the beer, find nothing, and walk out. And
If I want something different, I have to brew it.
yeah, but if I do something, I'll buy it. Usually, if I want to try it, I'll buy it. But yeah, lots of weeks I'll go without spending $1. But do the walkthrough and have clerks look at you like, walk through the beer room and then just leave.
Yeah.
You know what that used to happen to me all the time at the LCBO when I'd walk in, I'd just walk around for a few minutes looking at stuff and then I'd leave. They'd be watching me like, is he stealing? Is he stealing? What's he doing? And then they all learned who I was and what I do, and they're like, oh, he just didn't find anything.
Yeah, I think now they know, well, he buys a lot of different craft beer and there's just nothing new, so he's leaving.
I typically always try to buy something. I mean, buying singles, you guys, as you know, in the States, we can, go buy a fucking $1.50 single or something, or $2 single. But yeah, I mean, there's times I'll just walk in just to chat with the manager.
Yeah, I'll just walk in there and I'll just, like, if I have a 4-pack or whatever, and I picked up 3 beers that I wanted, and then I'm like, fuck, well, I got this one empty space. Maybe I'll just, so I just put my hand over my eyes like that. I just pick something.
Fuck off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no,
at least that's my
Winter is Coming said that $30 is his new target, but here in Ontario that barely gets him anything more than a 6-pack and a couple singles. And he's right, but I mean, I think us here in Ontario get spoiled. We were talking about this at work a few days ago. I think in Canada we get spoiled because we look at the U.S. Canada is actually one of the cheaper countries in the world. And then we look at the U.S., who's like 10 times cheaper than us, and we're like, oh my god. Look at how cheap all their shit is over there. Oh my god. And then you go to Europe and you can buy a 2-4 of beer in Europe in some countries for like $70 Canadian. Like, we are fairly cheap, but we're looking at the US who is getting their 2-4 for fucking $13.
I can buy a 2-4 of beer here for about $30 Canadian.
How much?
About 30 Canadian.
30 Canadian? But and what are you buying for 30 Canadian?
I mean, if you're talking macro now, yeah, 30 Canadian.
Okay, and our macro is about 36. And, I mean, well, 36 to 40, 44, mattering where it is. But then you look at the U.S. and you're looking at, like, 8 to 16, mattering what state you're in.
Well, yeah, there you go, yeah. Exactly.
I still think it's somewhat of a misconception that we're so much cheaper with beer. Yes, macro, but craft and bomber special releases, stuff like that, you guys might even be cheaper.
Yeah, in craft beer, I think we're on par, if not cheaper.
Yeah.
But just beer in general, you got to remember the masses drink. The masses.
Well, in craft beer, both Canada and the States are cheaper than Ireland because craft beer is damn expensive over here.
Yeah, and that's one of the things. Peter from Master of Hoppets, he was telling me how much a bottle of Cade cost him, and I told him how much a bottle of Cade cost here in Canada in Canadian dollars. He's like, oh my god, that's disgusting, because the difference was like 10 Canadian dollars for the bottle. Yeah, and the bottle is brewed in Denmark, where he's buying it. Like, it's disgusting when you think about the price difference in that, and that's just for craft. I mean, craft beer is a totally different monster than when you're talking about macro beer.
I mean, over here, a pint of on tap, a pint of, we'll say, normal craft beer, if you want to say, we're talking probably about 10 to 12 Canadian dollars in the bar. I don't know if that sounds like a lot to you, but that sounds like an awful lot to me.
Oh yeah, a pint here at most bars, or at the breweries themselves, you're looking at between 5 and.
You see, we're not allowed to sell beer from the breweries over here. Breweries over here can't sell beer to the public.
And Canada, Ontario especially, talks about our archaic laws a lot. But when you look across the world, we're just again, we're just looking across the border at the U.S. going, wow, they can do this and we can't. When you look at a lot of European countries or Asian countries or Australian, Australian areas, we're not much different. Yeah, like look at Ireland. You can't sell at the brewery. Actually, you can't sell at the brewery at a lot of American states either, except for on special occasions.
Well, like my local brewery just in the road, and I'm fairly familiar with the owner. I actually went to school with his brother. Long story. I was in there one day. He gave me the whole tour around. You know, a nice little micro setup. And there's this one particular beer that I really like. And I said, look, he knows I'm into home brew. And I said, I have an in, take it home. I said, any chance, so I bring it in, fill it up, and I'll buy a keg off you. And he said, no. You fuck it. If you don't ask, you won't get. And he said, you know what, Greg? He said, I would if I could, but we're actually not allowed to by law. We cannot sell directly. He said, the only way I could do it would be if I sold it to a local pub and you bought it off of them. And of course, then you're paying full pub price then at that stage.
Yeah. It's unfortunate. I mean, Canadians, Ontarians especially, think that our laws are so fucked up. It's not funny, and our laws are fucked up. They are, but they're not as fucked up as some countries' laws. I mean, there are a lot of weird stigmas and weird little junctions in every country's alcohol law. Just again, we're looking at the U.S., where other than Pennsylvania, for the most part, you can buy alcohol anywhere.
What is it about Pennsylvania? Why are they so restrictive on beer? I think that's unusual.
I don't know. We need to get Paul in there.
You have seen Paul, right? Those are the kind of people that
live in here. Pennsylvania is a very Sasquatch and church-oriented state.
Like, I think technically Paul lives in a dry county, I believe. But
yeah, he told me he has to drive like 45 minutes to buy beer.
Is Paul signing in? Paul signing in? I gotta go.
No, he is not. You can't leave yet.
You're driving home with the trunk loaded, man. Dry county.
He doesn't have a trunk anymore. His car still hasn't moved.
Oh, I guess he brews though a lot. I was gonna say it brewed more. He brews.
Yeah, he does. He brews quite a bit actually. Yeah.
Actually, on a serious note, I gotta go, guys.
Alrighty. Alright. You have a wonderful night, Stuart. It was great talking to you. I wish Marvin would come and give us his beautiful accent again, but he's too good for us. It's okay.
Alright, guys. Cheers.
Cheers.
Prost.
Winter is Coming asks to the American panel members, what does a average tall boy of craft beer cost you? I'm talking the year-round staples. Here it's $3 with the new LCBO heights.
Well, see, there's no.
There's not really tall boys in craft beer. There's
like
very
pints. It's like Sierra Nevada and Sam Adams is the only craft beer I see around here.
Well, how big are the cans from Firestone Walker?
These right here, these cans, these are 12 ounces, like a pop can or soda can.
Well,
I mean, you're easy, Joe, all right?
Okay, well, what does each one of those 12-ounce cans cost?
This right here. This can I don't like $2.
A pint here for Sam Adams is about $1.50 for a pint.
Holy fuck! It's only $5.
Put it this way: a six pack of 72 ounces. I'm not converting that to fucking milliliter. Sorry. The 6-pack of this was $10.99.
Okay, so 72 ounces, $10.99. So yeah, you're about the same.
Yeah, maybe $1 more or something. I mean, but you know, there are a lot of 6-packs you can buy that are $8, $9 too. But Firestone's from California, so of course they
Canada.
Gotcha. I wish they were from Canada. And I could get all their stuff fresher, cheaper.
Did you guys talk about how Yuengling surpasses the Boston Beer Company on the Brewers Association ranking for the top?
Ethan, we have discussed no real topics this evening. Please say this.
Now, $1.50.
Well, I don't know. I didn't know if you guys brought it up or not. That's all.
No, we didn't.
$1.50 for Sam Adams.
We get 500 ml cans of craft beer in here in Alberta.
No, usually your craft beer is in your usual craft beer is in the 473s in the tall boys.
Oh, yeah, they're the 4-packs, and a lot of them are $20, depending.
$20 4-packs of what? A fucking 12 ounces?
Yes, super cans. They're usually like Chad said, 470.
Oh, so that's
500.
I think
Still
Old
kind of a
Tub Nitro is $16.
Fuck off. Yeah, but that's okay. I'm trying to think of what that was.
You can buy a 4-pack of Bellhaven's Black, which is actually a nice nitro stout. You can buy a 4-pack of that for like $11. So you're looking at $2.75 or so a can for a nice little beer.
You on Tap, you mentioned, Brad, that the Enjoy by 420 was $14 a bottle.
Yeah.
Huh? $14 a bottle is like $9 here.
Yeah, I'm noticing in the States that if you want to buy a 6-pack of Stone beers, it's going to cost you over $20 US. And if you want to buy a not 6-pack, if you want to buy a 750 milliliter bottle of a Dogfish Head, you better spend between 14 and 17 US. So those are really two breweries that really make good beer.
I find this hysterical. Okay, I know you guys have a bigger population than us and all that, but I find it hysterical that in the U.S. the price discrepancy is so big, but your craft beer movement is so much bigger than in Canada, where the price discrepancy isn't all that much different. I mean, a 2.4 of your average macro brew is going to run you between $30 if you're doing a budget beer and $46 if you're doing an import. Where and the usual like Canadian and Coors and all that is in like the $36 to $39 range. A 2.4 of craft beer, that there are a couple Ontario craft breweries that have the $30 2.4s too, but we're not going to count those. But your 2.4 of craft beer, you're looking at like $40 to $48. So the discrepancy in price is only like $6 to $10 difference compared to your like $12 2.4s to $40 2.4s, and your movement is so much bigger than ours. It just boggles my mind. What's that? No, like our discrepancy is under $10 most of the time, and people will not pay that extra $10 to try something new.
Right.
But in the U.S., they will pay that $20 or $30 premium to try the craft beer.
Or they won't, because the great thing about it is they don't have to buy the 24. They can walk and go, I want a can, or I want a bottle.
Well, yeah, you do have the ability to buy singles at so many different places.
I can tell you this. I can count on one hand the times that I've been in a bottle shop in the last 6 years. It doesn't matter what it is. Surprisingly, I can count. Right. But on one hand, I can count the times that I've seen someone walk into the bottle shop while I was there, whether it's 15, 20 minutes, or whatever the time I spent, and actually walked out with a case of craft beer. And that's just the difference. In the States, there aren't a shit ton of people that just go in and buy cases. And to be honest with you, a lot of the really good beer that everyone likes is usually limited. Whether it's a single bottle, a 4-pack, a 6-pack, you can't get entire cases of a lot of the stuff. Now, if you want to talk about the Sam Adams of the world and stuff, sure. But I'm talking like the stuff that is.
Well, still, even if you're buying them as a single, if you buy a 2.4, the price discrepancy, like if you buy 24 different singles, your price discrepancy is still the same.
Well, I'm saying, but if you're buying one or two, you're not spending that extra $30. You're spending an extra couple dollars. That's why so many people are kickers, right? Because they can go in and buy. The thing is, you go into a mix.
Well, you can use that then, right? What is it? The Big Flats is like $3.49. So one 6-pack. Pardon?
It was $3, but they price gouged in New York. It was $3.29 for the Big Flats.
Okay, so it's $3.29 for a 6-pack, or you could buy 2 singles for that same price. So you lose out on 4 tall boys. No, 4 12 ounces. Sorry, they were 12 ounces.
You lose out on 48 ounces of beer. Of shit beer, because that's what.
I'm not arguing whether it's good beer or not. I'm just bringing up price discrepancies.
I was going to say, this is probably boring or whatever, but it seems like in a lot of areas in the States, like let's say Texas, people have a lot of disposable income and like really low taxes. Like up here, like $30 is a big deal. It's kind of sad when someone's like, I can only spend $30 a week up here. $30 is like, really, when you think about what our bills are in Canada, $30 is like, fuck all, man. Like $30 is like nothing, and we're worried about
one bottle of beer usually.
But it's all in the eye of the beholder. How much do you
Texas
drink?
is big.
When you
It's
say
its own country.
When you ask somebody how much beer are you buying per week, it depends. Do you,
You
drink
know
a
what?
six-pack every night? Do you drink a single beer?
$30 hurts me. The $30 a week price only hurts me when I'm out of beers to review and I need more beers for the review. That's the only time it hurts me. Any other time, $30
is a lot. You know,
yeah,
like,
30 bucks.
I know
Again, I drink 2 times a week. I drink when I'm reviewing, which is usually Thursday nights, and I drink when I am doing Beer Dweebs United, which is Wednesday nights. So those are the only 2 nights I need anything, and if I don't have anything new, I don't drink on Thursdays because I have so many reviews in queue, it's not even funny. And yeah, so $30 can easily get me through the one night a week I actually do drink anything. It can get me through plus. I mean, I had a 12-pack sitting on the floor for 3 weeks that I just kept adding to, but I mean, for 3 weeks it was there, and it had more than enough for me to go for 3 weeks with me adding like 2 beers a week to it. I have 5 beers over on the chair, which I have to review tomorrow, and I have 3 beers left in the fridge, so I have 8 beers left to review, and that's where I'm at. I mean, but I have 70 reviews in queue, so it doesn't really matter.
No, what I was getting at is like maybe that in a certain way is a standard of living kind of better down there because maybe do people have more disposable income or beer like. I never think about $20 isn't a big deal as like for most Canadians.
You have to look at what the minimum wage is in a lot of states, and it's sad in a lot of states. And there are a lot of people that have to work more than one job full time to make ends meet in the states, which I think is why macro beer is so big down there because you can get your 2-4 for like $10. You can get your 12-pack for this. You can get your 30-pack for this. I think that's the reason those beers survive is the minimum wage down there. But that's why it boggles my mind even more that the craft beer scene is so big down there when you look at the prices. Because like Joe said, for craft beer prices, Canada is sometimes better. I mean, sometimes we get beer. You got to remember what Ontario's beer taxes are. And sometimes we will get beer into Ontario that is cheaper than buying it in the States. From the States. Like, it's hysterical.
Well, I see people like Greg's not here. By the way, you kicked him out, and he's blocked, and he's all upset, and he's sending messages. I'm just ignoring him because he's Greg. Who cares? Anyway, but no, if you can unblock him, I guess he wants an invite. He like always I want to say whines, but he kind of whine a little bit like a bitch, Greg. I know you're watching this. He's just like, all the Bellwoods beers, they're 500 milliliters and they're $13. You know, most of the ones he's talking about are aged in cognac barrels for a year and they're 13% alcohol, right? So a 13% cognac barrel aged beer for $13.
We talk about price all the time, and I mean, yeah, $13 for a pint of a barrel aged beer that's been barrel aged for a year, I'm okay with, especially if it's a good beer. What was Matt talking about? He was talking about that one beer from a new brewery in no, it
wasn't a new brewery. Berwick's been around for a long time. At least
okay, he said new, so I don't know. I don't know anything about
the beer itself is new, I guess.
Okay, so here's the thing. Bellwoods came out with Bring Out Your Dead on their first anniversary and sold it for $15 on the first anniversary. The price actually went down by the second year. And it was one of the best beers I've ever had. And it still is to this day, which is why I'm going to kill my father-in-law. Anyway, who cares how long the brewery's been around if the beer is good? They were talking about, him and Paul both said that they were sad that they missed it on tap. I want to know how much it was on tap, because that talks about the bottle price at 12 ounces. I mean, $12 for a 12 ounce does sound a little steep, but if it's a great beer, who cares? But I mean, it becomes one of those things where, do you want to spend it to try it or not? Would I spend $6 to try half the bottle? Probably. Would I buy a 12 ounce right off the bat if I just walked into a store and saw it? Probably not, because I know nothing about Berwicks. Like I said, I have no clue how old they are, how anything. But I would share a bottle of it with somebody.
It comes down to, we always have these conversations about money. It comes down, pay what you're going to pay for a beer and don't worry what someone else is paying. if you're gonna complain or you're gonna whatever, then you clearly don't want that beer bad enough because you're not gonna spend the money. Guess what? A lot of other beers out there. Go and try it. That's the story. You don't have to agree with the price. You don't have to be happy about the price. But you know what? You complain about it and upset about it, or ooh, everyone who buys it is stupid. That's not gonna help anything because it's just someone else is gonna walk into that fucking brewery and go, you know what? Man, I'm gonna buy this beer, and they're not gonna care what you think.
In all honesty, like what they're talking about, what he was talking about was whether or not this beer is going to be good. It's highway robbery, it's this and that. You haven't tried it, so you don't know. First off, second off, yeah, they might be building a hype about it, but I've seen here in Ontario, $13 for Bring Out Your Dead. It sells in hours, and they only have 200 bottles of that beer he was talking about. That's going to sell out. It's going to sell out quick because people are going to jump on it to try it. It's what's going to happen. It doesn't matter whether or not you think it's great or not. I mean, I make fun of Kunin's prices quite a lot. We know that. Do they make good beer? They do make good beer. Do I agree with the prices they charge on a lot of things? No.
Some of it's good.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, you don't know what you're getting until you buy it and try it. Do they make good beer? They make good beer. They don't all, like every single brewery is going to have hits and misses. It's the way it is. I mean, I love Innocente. Innocente makes some beers I don't like. It's just the way it is. But the price matters on whether or not you want to pay it. I'm like you, Joe. I don't like to pay more than $1 an ounce. But in truth, I don't like to pay more than 50 to 75 cents an ounce. That's what I like to pay. But I never like to pay more than $1 an ounce. When it goes over $1 an ounce, I get agitated.
That used to be my rule like 3 years ago. I don't want to pay $1 an ounce, more than $1 an ounce. And then I was like, wait, there's way too many beers that I want to try that are more than $1 an ounce. But yeah, it's just one of those things. Like I said, everyone brings up price, and yes, I understand. For everybody, it's different. Some people just can't afford. Apparently, winter is coming, can afford to go to the beer store and buy whatever the fuck he wants because he's a millionaire. The rest of us, though, we got this thing called a budget, or something where you can't just.
Winter is coming is just the beeraholic with a bunch of plastic surgery.
Yeah, it's one of those things where if I see something I want to try it, I don't sit there and go, you know what? I have a $1 an ounce limit. That shit is $12.99 for a 12-ounce bottle. Fuck that. I'm leaving it here.
I'm not saying that I have a hard code on. I'm only paying $1 an ounce. That's what I like to pay. I will pay more if I really want to try it, but sometimes I am let down and then I get pissed off at myself for doing it.
Well, that's one of the things. When I see something too expensive, at first I get upset because I'm like, man, that's $15 for a $6.50 of something that's not barrel aged, whatever. And then I sit there, and if I don't pick it up, I go, you know what? I really didn't want it enough. Because if I wanted it enough, I would have.
Look who joined. We started talking about Matt's comment about the Berkworks thing, and there's Matt.
He can't even say it. It's Berwick.
I'm drinking. Leave me alone. Yeah. So. Yeah, we all have our price point that we will not pay higher than. But I mean, craft beer is so new that using age. And Matt, I know that why you said what you said. I understand it, but I don't think using age is a fair conundrum on whether or not the price is reasonable. Again, Bring Out Your Dead. It was their first anniversary beer. And it was one of the best beers I've ever drank. Still to this day, it's one of the best beers I've ever drank.
How much was it when you bought it, though?
It was $15 for the pint. The first one. Then it dropped down to...
At the brewery?
Yes, at the brewery.
Okay.
And then it dropped down to $13.
You Canadians are weird, so it's like Marshall.
But you know what? I think the one thing that I will agree with Matt on what he posted. I think though reputation plays a huge part in it,
yes,
and if you're going into it and let's say you're a fucking fan of Founders, or like Matt's a fan of North Coast, or you're a fan of this brew, you're probably gonna be more willing to pay an extra $2, $3, $4, $5 for a bottle of their beer if you're like, man, I've had like 20 beers from them and I've pretty much liked every single one of them. And here's another brewery over here that you didn't really care for, or all the shit was average.
And that's the thing you have to take into account too. It's not like you're talking about a brewery that's bottling beer, putting beer out there, and that they're putting all this beer out in the market, and they decided to put this amazing beer out there. This is a brewery that hasn't bottled a beer. This is a brewery that hasn't like put anything out there. This is a small brewery that is like literally. Well, this is their first real, as far as they concerned. This is their words. That's their words. Their first bottle release. That's what they said.
What did they just was that like some ghetto shit? Did they just throw like a makeshift bottle? And then Paul bottle it for me.
But what I'm saying is they've done like little stuff here and there. My point is, it's bottles I've never seen on shelves. They've never yes, I've seen bottles of their beer. We've seen all breweries that are close to us bottles. You know what I mean? But as far as producing beer, it's not like they're producing 6-packs and cases for places. They're just dropping beers off here and there. Kind of like similar. Joe wanted to take you to Breaker bottle stuff, but it's like 750s here and there, bottles here and there, and they drop them off at select little bottle shops. You know what I mean? And to throw out a $12 ounce bottle out there like that, to me was a little bit disingenuous to its local community. It's not like you're putting it out there was a groundswell for the beer, and then you're like, okay, people love this. Let's not make a buck, but let's make it commensurate for what it's worth. It was like, hey, $12 a bottle, knock yourself out. Whoever wants it.
It's going to go one or two ways. Either they're going to sell out of it and they're going to find out there was a market, or they're going to realize that they need to lower the price and that it wasn't as popular as they imagined, and they're going to learn one way or the other how it's.
But that's not to call it a problem, but I think that's an issue, or whatever you want to call it. I think there is dumb enough people to buy it without even thinking.
Well,
and
that's the thing, right? With the way the beer market is right now, people will buy it regardless. They'll jump on it.
Exactly.
Because it's super rare. They'll jump on it because it's super rare.
Well, not just that. There's and not to classify people as smarter or dumber or whatever. But I think there's like a 20 percentile, there's a sub 20 percentile, and then there's that middle ground, that 60%, which is really, I mean, that's what's going on right now. There's a lot of people getting into beer and they're throwing themselves head first into it, which is awesome. But it's too hard, too fast, to where people are just like, I just want to get this, I just want to get that, and they're just going to grab it just to grab it so they have it.
Yeah, but that's business. Here's the way that it's business. They're a business, that's what they're doing. So if they throw it out there and it sells out quickly and whatnot and things like that, more power to them people, and they obviously saw the market which they thought was going to be, and I can't fault them for it. I mean,
what did we talk about with the Kunin thing? I ended up admitting that I cannot fault Kunin for charging the price that people will pay. I can sort of fault the people that will pay it, but I can't fault them fully because they are willing to pay what they're willing to pay. I can only fault it because it's changing the market into something I don't want the market to be.
Yeah, but again, it's like anything else. That's your opinion. It's what you.
But I'm fully allowed to talk about what my opinion is.
No, you are. That's what I'm saying.
They're allowed to buy whatever they want to buy.
Exactly.
But I can say why, as long as I have an argument for why, I'm allowed to say why I don't like it.
No,
it's not like I can just say, fuck those guys for buying that, fuck them. But I can sit there and say, well, this costs only this much to make, and then they're charging this much. This is going to just continually raise the price of where we're in the wine country. And who wants to be in the wine country? We all want to drink the beer. And I can be that way, but I mean, it doesn't matter. I can't fault the brewery for charging that, and I can't fault the people that want to, I can't fully fault the people that want to pay it. I can sort of fault them because they're creating the market that they're creating, but I mean, at the same time, if they want to do it, they can do it.
Well, I got a kind of a question. Like, we're all worried about, there's going to be too much craft beer out there and something's going to happen, but we don't think that maybe more people will get into it than where maybe 10 years ago there'd be like a higher percentage.
Well, that's the beautiful part, is something is going to happen. That's the fun thing.
The mustache, is that what's going to happen?
Excuse me, Joe. How about you just shut the f*** up?
I just love it. I mean, come on.
I know. That's why you comment on every one of my videos and like every one of my posts on Facebook.
I don't comment on any of your videos because
Caroline
scares me a lot.
That's all I can say. Caroline is hot.
Like when you open some of your videos with your mustache front and center, dude, that's not a good.
It's just trying to have people
to Matt.
Yes.
When we're talking about Bellwood's Bring Out Your Dead and how it was one of the best beers I ever had, what happened with that was we went to do a beerumentary with them, and it was the same day, it was the same week they released the beer. And when we were doing our beerumentary, he gave each of us, all three of us, there was me, the cartoon, and the cantankerous cook. And he gave each of us, that's what we call it, a beerumentary. Fuck you, you piece of shit. Anyway,
I'm laughing at something else.
He gave each of us a 2-ounce sample. He gave each of us a 2-ounce sample off tap of the Bring Out Your Dead, and we tried it, and we loved it. And he gave us 1 bottle to review. We ended up getting that 1 bottle for free at $15 a pint, but we also bought, between the 3 of us, I bought 12 of them, but we ended up buying at $15 a pint. We bought 16 beers and brought them home. I sent a bunch of them around and all that, but I don't know if I would have bought more than 1 beer if I hadn't tried it ahead of time, and that's what I was going to say. I understand exactly where you are on that.
And that's the thing, like Bellwoods. How old is Bellwoods?
At that time, they were 1 year old. Now they're going on 3 years.
And there's a hesitation there to drink it, but at the same time, it's not a matter of I could if they gave me literally a 1-ounce sample and I drank it, I might buy. I'd be like, give me half a case. I'll drop $150 on it, depending on what it tastes like. You're talking about a brewery that really hasn't showed and proved to me. Everybody's different, but anything other than, you know what I mean, not me. I don't want to say mediocrity. It's just they're a nice brewery trying to do their thing, and they don't have a big history. If they make a great beer, and I will buy a ton of it, but it just I don't know. It's just a little bit askew for me for what I know of the brewery and what they're trying to do. You know.
And that's the beauty in this, because you're on one side saying you've had brewery stuff, not a huge fan. Paul, on the other hand, loves brewery. He loves the brewery, and he's a guy that's gonna pay $12.
But I Berwick. I do like them, but $12 a bottle. There's a difference. It's not that I don't like them. I'm not saying that. You know what I mean?
And you know what I love about people that actually truly love beer? We're sitting here having this conversation instead of attacking each other.
Oh, fuck that! Right in his ear. Not allowed. You know, what are you doing, Brian?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, no, but I'm saying that's. I mean, ultimately, what all this comes down to is your opinion.
Yeah,
of course.
It
doesn't matter one way or the other. It doesn't matter one way or the other. You're either going to pay it or you're not.
In your opinion, you could be like someone who likes Bud Light. I feel they waste their hard money every time they go pick up a 2-4 of it.
You know what it comes down to? It comes down to fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. You're cool. Fuck you, fuck you. And that's what it comes down to.
I don't know who was the cool one in the group.
I have no idea either. I just point fingers.
Winter is Coming said, no Rhino, do share Witchcraft 2-4s are available at $30. I'm assuming they would be directly from the brewery. I think I heard Amsterdam sells 2-4s in that price range. I don't know if Amsterdam does or not, Winter's Coming, but I know that Nickelbrook does. They sell their, what is it now? It is Cause and Effect at a $30 2-4. The draft was better. The Cause and Effect, not as good. I don't like it as much. Great Lakes sells their Golden Horseshoe for $30 a 2-4 here in Ontario. It is a okay lager. They're both drinkable and they're both better than what you can get normally from a fucking piece of shit brewery. And I don't actually think that macro breweries are pieces of shit. I'm drinking now, so leave me alone. Again, Amsterdam I haven't had. I know Cool sells a bunch of them, but I wouldn't buy the Cool ones. The Brick sells Red Cap and Red Baron at that price. Both of them are acceptable. They're not good, but they're acceptable. There are a lot of craft breweries out there that do it. It's just whether or not they're good to you or not. Another topic we had before we get into the last topic I'm going to talk about, which is one that we probably should have done first because we all were sober and we actually had viewers. But I don't care. We'll hit it then. We'll hit it at the end. Anyway, the MPPs vote on the Ontario Craft Brews of the Legislature. 28 craft breweries sampled 90 beer brands at the annual event. MPPs choose 7 craft beers, which are the favorite of the legislature and become part of the craft offerings in their fucking cafeteria. So the legislature of Ontario, the Ontario government, has 7 craft beers available at their fucking cafeteria. First off, how many of you work at a job where you can drink beer in your cafeteria? I don't. And I work in a beer industry. I don't.
I can't drink beer, period. Beer, period.
Can't drink beer on your period.
Yeah, you can't drink beer. I'm not even going to read all the things that the guys said because it just pisses me off. Because they had this event and they could have announced at the event if Catherine Wynne actually cared about Ontario craft beer. I don't know why the OCB keeps doing this event when they're not given their craft beer stores or anything else they want. I don't know why the OCB keeps doing it, but who even gives a shit? Anyway, the winning craft beers of the annual 2015 Speakers Tasting Event are the Speaker's Choice King Vienna Lager by Provincial Beverage. Oh, they changed their name. They used to be the Beer Barons. Now they're Provincial Beverages Inc.
Fucking Beer Barons. Jesus.
Interesting. So first off, the Speaker has no fucking clue what beers are good. That's all I'm going to say about the Speaker. Golden Lager, Pilsner, and Light Beer. Stonehammer Pilsner by Stonehammer Brewing Company. I know they were pouring Stonehammer Light. That should have won that category, in my opinion. But whatever. Again, people's choices are people's choices, and these are all people that don't really drink craft beer because they're all fucking paid off by the big macro companies, which is why I find this event hysterical. Bold flavored ale, stout, or porter. 10 bitter years Imperial India Pale Ale by Black Oak Brewing. That doesn't really fall into stout or porter, but anyway, malty dark lager or ale, Tankhouse Ale by Mill Street Brewery, again pale ale, wheat beer or specialty, King Street Saison by Block 3. Yeah, Block 3, good for you. King Street Saison is actually a nice beer. Refreshing ale, Lug Tread Lagered Ale by Bose Brewing Company. Can't say that's not a refreshing ale. I can't fault them on that. I can't.
I like me some Lug Tread.
I mean, Lug Tread Ale is a nice little ale. So those are the beers that won to go into the cafeteria at the Ontario provincial government. What are your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts on this event? I think the event's hysterical because what are they beside Molson and Bush? Because Molson and Bud fucking pay half the government's fucking fees.
What? Okay, what did he ask? I'm sorry, I missed out.
I don't know.
I'm over here talking about tobaccos over here with.
I think it was a list of beers available in the cafeteria at some of the provincial something. I don't.
You're at the cafeteria at a government building. That just sounds strange to me.
Yeah, it is Canada, though, right? Like.
Yeah,
wherever.
I think let me ask a more interesting question. Do you guys think craft beer is tapped out?
Fuck no. Fuck no.
Nope.
What did Marvin just ask you?
And I'm stretching here.
He said he wanted to ask,
but this is the precipice.
No, I don't think it's. I think it's tapped out though. I'll tell you the reason why I think it's tapped out. You guys are
Jamaica, Marvin. You know,
Marvin, what are you doing on here then?
Okay, let me tell you, and I'll tell you the reason, my rationale behind it. Sometimes when you're in the pen, all you can do is see what's in the pen. It seems that you guys are in the pen too long. I am outside looking inside of the pen. There is so much beer you can have on a shelf to be sold. Now, if you have a brewery selling it at your, brewery, at bar, whatever, your tavern, that's fine. You can build 1,000 of those, convert all bars into making beer in-house. But when you come to a supermarket, there is so much shelf space that you can give up to a.
Okay, so is your argument more that there is just too much options now?
Yes, there's so when you go into an American supermarket or maybe a Canadian supermarket, there is two aisles, one on the right and one on the left, full of alcohol, and there's too many choices, and the supermarket is not going to give up another aisle and another aisle and another aisle.
If you're in Ontario, there's no supermarket yet with an aisle of alcohol.
Okay. So typically in America, if you go into, in most major cities, you will find in a Kroger, Publix, Walmart, not Walmart, but most.
No, Walmart too.
Yeah, well, somewhat of them Walmart, but they got like one aisle here.
None in Pennsylvania.
Right,
yeah,
but
Pennsylvania's not allowed.
But what I'm getting to is that there are so many. Think about another product. of any other product that has
so
much else.
you're talking about the bubble that we all talk about quite often. Will the bubble ever pop? Yeah, the bubble's probably getting close in Ontario. The bubble's probably getting close in Nova Scotia. There's 3,000 craft breweries in the U.S. and none of them have really folded in the last little while. So I don't know if the bubble's ready yet in the U.S.
I don't think it's a matter of bubble bursting. It's
correct.
It's expanding and contracting. It's the whole civilization was based on beer. The civilization like moved to a place to cultivate hops and fucking barley and malt and all that stuff in order to make beer, and that was fucking when we were becoming actually human beings. We're still drinking it now, so it's never going to go away. It's a matter of being huge or small.
When we talk, and see, I think that's one of the things. When you talk to a craft brewery about whether the bubble is going to burst or not, they all get all up in arms. And they're like, no. I don't think they get what we mean by when we say the bubble's going to burst. When the bubble bursts, I don't think it's going to be craft beer just disappear. It's going to be some of these small players are gone. Some of these small players get sucked up by either the macro breweries or the big craft breweries. Some of these small players that aren't either in a locale that really supports them or have other options in the locale are going to disappear. I think in the end, the bubble will burst at some point. I mean, we take Niagara Falls, for instance. We talk about how Niagara Falls has a booming beer industry right now. And Niagara Falls does, but Niagara-on-the-Lake has 3 craft breweries in it right now. There are 3 planned to open. How many breweries can Niagara-on-the-Lake support with them all wanting to get just tourists and locals and nothing else?
Yeah, I mean, oversaturation is oversaturation. But I mean, like, I think there'll always be those breweries. Now, the small ones that go to the wayside, I think is what, maybe that I'm wrong, but Marvin could correct me on this. I think what he was trying to talk about is they'll end up becoming local brew pubs to they actually generate beer for the local community. Is that what you're talking about? Where they're actually like, is that what you're touching on?
Yes, what I'm trying to say is that there's going to be 2 kind of industries. One that is a local pub that will serve for their local, patrons, and then there is another one that goes into the supermarket. I think
you'd have your regionals and you'd have your locals.
Right. So the ones that go into the supermarkets are the ones that are now tapped out. I honestly think if I owned a supermarket, I would not be, and a distributor came to my door knocking and say, hey, I want to put in some 6-pack. I'm like, fella, I can't take any more right now. I have 6-packs sitting on that shelf for days and it's not being sold. So no more 6-packs. There's enough. There's no empty spaces under those shelves.
But see, here's where I'll disagree with you, Marvin. There is, because I can speak for a lot of the Americans here that I don't buy a lot of my stuff at supermarkets. I buy them at beer shops, bottle shops that make specific space for everything because they're craft beer nerds like us. So there is never, there's no space. They'll always make space. And there's also a lot of...
That matters if you have the ability to have a craft beer shop or not. Right now, Ontario is opening up supermarkets, but not craft beer shops. They're talking about craft beer shops.
That's why I said America specifically.
No, I understand.
In the States... But there's also big grocery places like Wegmans, for instance, that...
And Wegmans has a better craft beer selection than Ontario's LCBOs do.
And I've seen a half dozen Wegmans actually just redesign their entire craft beer section because they wanted to make more room for stuff that actually sells.
I guess it matters how much the population is after it too. I mean, maybe like we've talked about, Jamaica doesn't have the love for it because they have their Red Stripe and they have their Guinness and they have their Dragon Stout. They don't have their Royal Jamaican, which I have, which I'm okay with. You guys don't get it, I do. Whatever, fuck you.
It's one of those things where it's not just limited. The reason why, like, I can see maybe if you go to just like a regular supermarket or something, but it has come a long way in the last 5-10 years where specific specialty shops are now opening up.
But I do agree with him to a point that I do agree that a bubble will burst at some point. And you will see
at some point.
At a lot of these, but when it is, we all have guessed. I mean, 5 years ago we all would have guessed around now. Now it still hasn't popped. It's still growing. Who knows when it'll pop? But when it pops, it'll pop. And what will survive is the bigger guys, the guys that make amazing beer. And the guys that are in sections of the guys that are in places that there is no other competition, like Bayside Brewing in Erie, Ontario, makes horrible fucking beer. It's extract beer that isn't even made well. I could make it in my house in a bucket. I don't even need a mash tun or anything. But they have no competition because there's one road into the town, there's one road out of the town. and it's a tourist.
But
it's a tourist
I think
sport.
different. I don't think there will be any bubble. There will be no bursting of no bubble. We will not see that next year, December, there's a bubble and there's nothing going to happen. It's just going to happen where Marvin Stewart starts a brewery, Average Joe and Marvin decides to go start a brewery. We spend $1 million start this brewery, and we go to the supermarket and they say, hey, they're not tasting it. They're going to say, well, we can't take it because we don't have the capacity to take it. We go to a specialty store, and we go into the store, and unless we promote it hard, it stays in the store for a month, and then we go back again to refill, and the man says, hey, I can't take a beer again because, it's not selling.
No, okay, I understand exactly where you're going now. So you're saying supermarkets won't have room, specialty stores will have too many choices. Yeah, you're right. In time, it'll happen. I mean, but in the U.S., it still hasn't happened, and they have over 3,000 craft breweries right now, and they're still growing. In Ontario alone, there's over 130 at the moment, and there's going to be over 180 by the end of the year. I think it'll happen soon, but I mean, it all matters whether or not your province, your state, your country makes allowances to make more availability.
No, but you're looking at it a little different, and I'll add a little something to Will, is that most of these craft brewers are not brewing like a Budweiser or a Heineken or Guinness. They're brewing 1 or 2 specialty beers. They're brewing 10 different beers. Correct? So
it matters which brewery it is. Some only have their core brands, and some have a bunch of core brands, and there's
right. So what happens is that one brewery, let's say, I don't know what the name of it is, Average Joe Brewery has.
Oh shit, Joe's making some good stuff.
Oh, nothing but coconut ales.
Average Joe has a brewery, and he has 10 different kind of IPAs, and he has all of them in one.
It'll be 20 years from now.
But there's a lot of these. When I go to the supermarket, a lot of these companies have 3, 4, 5 different bottles, different brands. So one company has 5 brands, another company has 6 brands, another company has 8 brands. There's so many companies that can go. It's not like everybody has one bottle,
Well, here's the thing. I mean, I think it's going to burst at some point, but right now I go into my local Wegmans. I'm in northeastern Pennsylvania. It's not a hotbed for beer. I go into my local Wegmans. They have about 1,000 different beers, and people still want more. More.
Well, you have to look at
these guys, for me, is a good compensation to what he's talking about. Cameron's has 5 core brands. They used to have 4 core brands, and then they added the RPA to their core brands. Cameron's had 4 core brands. When they started making their money is when they started doing these seasonals. They actually have about 15 brands as of now. I think in the end there's like 45 beers that are untapped from them because they do cask ales and this and that. Where they make their money is not their core brands as much. Their core brands are what get into bars and pubs, but when people are going to the LCBO, they're buying their seasonals, not their core brands. And that's where you can make your more money because you can charge like $9 instead of $2 for your seasonal just because people will pay it. And you sell 2 bottles of this at $9 a bottle compared to fucking 9 bottles of the regular at $2 a bottle. You're making more money in the long run off of these.
I just think one of the things that a lot of people fail to realize when you talk about the bubble and stuff, and so many places open up, how many new craft beer users pop up on a daily basis, on a weekly basis? How many convert from macro to micro or added into their rotation? I don't know how far they can expand and make it. Nobody does. Everyone likes to guess. But it can be 20 years. It can be 2 years. I don't know.
Beer writers, beer professionals, everybody keeps guessing. Nobody knows for sure where it's going to happen. Everybody knows at some point it'll happen, but nobody knows where or when. And nobody thought that the U.S. would hit 3,000 craft breweries. Who thought that you would be able to support 3,000?
I knew that.
Yeah, you Mr. Ohio, shave your head.
You don't even know what a growler is, even.
Hey, don't make fun of Alec Ovechkin.
Alec Ovechkin.
What?
I'm a huge Blue Jackets fan. I like Alec Ovechkin. Who's that?
This I am drinking I am now drinking a 3-year-old
Alec
Doppelbock,
Ovechkin?
the Deviator Doppelbock, the barrel-aged version, but 3
That
years
looks like
old.
Ovechkin.
It looks like oven chicken. I am supposed to ask you, Matt. One of our viewers told me ask Matt how much he spends per week on beer.
That's an odd question because like the past couple weeks I've been like spending less because my liver is failing. Not literally, but figuratively, but literally kind of. I'm guessing. Oh fuck, 40 to 60 a week.
Okay, so you're sort of in the same ball game as us. We're mostly all in the 20 to 40 range, so in the same. I just got asked by Greg if there's any way to unban him. I don't know how to unban you, to tell you the truth. I think it's the next time I open up a thing. I ejected you because it's the only way to get you in again, and yeah, now I can't re-add you apparently. You're a troublemaker. But
I was actually listening on my way home when I was riding home, and you guys were talking about the beers that you guys don't gravitate towards yet wish you saw more of.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw it out there because I just wanted to put my 2 cents in. For me, Pilsner Sours, not gravitate towards. And wee heavies and braggot ales. Like, if you give me a good braggot ale that is actually made with honey, like Weyerbacher made one, Kuhnen made one, they're fucking delicious. And fucking, like a nice non-peat smoked wee heavy ale, I'm all game. And I didn't hear that shit, and that's my fucking cash money right there, motherfucker.
Because I just pretty much I sit on like multiple cases of Backwoods Bastards, so I don't care about the rest of the we have these. Fuck all the rest of them. I just drink all the Backwoods Bastards. That's an amazing beer.
I don't even know where to go to help you there, Greg. I don't know where to go. I
know where to go.
Where do you go?
These nuts.
Yeah.
These nuts.
Greg, you can go to hell and fuck right off.
I see my favorite Irish bastard just dropped out without saying bye.
No, he said bye in the awesome group chat we have going.
Yeah, he said
I told you guys that I'm blind and can't see. I get it. I'm blind. I can't see it. You all talk over there. Fuck you guys. You know what? We're in the Albino Rhinos chat, but we're not going to talk.
Pretty sure.
We're just
at least a half dozen people insulted you.
Viewers.
Ethan called himself a rhino. He did not specify albino or not.
So no, not albino, just regular.
We have 4 viewers. We'll get into the deep topic now.
Probably Greg on fucking 4 different devices.
There it is.
Okay, so this is a post on Beervana. When naming goes wrong, I was at Beermonger about a month ago and saw that Hop Valley had a beer on tap called Mouth Raper IPA.
Wow.
I had always known the beer as MR IPA or Mr. IPA. I had apparently not known the real name. According to the bartender there at Beermonger, Mouth Raper. That's what it says on the keg. And that's what it says on the bill, according to said bartender. So they're talking about whether or not it's a proper name, whether or not you accept the name, what you feel about the name, and this topic's going to segue into another topic. But yeah, basically, do you get mad at names like this? I mean, lots of breweries name their beers things that are not 100% kosher. I mean, Mouth Raper. I posted this article on our Facebook page, on the Albino Rhino Beer Review Facebook page, and Brett came out with it's just beer, don't get mad at it, and Dave Rickards came out with making jokes about rape is never okay. Is it a joke about rape, or is it just called Mouth Raper because it rapes your palate? I don't know. I've never had the beer. Do I care as much about the name as some people? No, because I'm not a social justice white knight. I don't really care about the name of the beer, because I know it's just a name that somebody's stupid about. But again, this will segue into the next topic, which is something that we'll talk about. But yeah, is it a proper name? Probably not. Is it a name that offends me? No, but I don't get offended easily. I'm a fucking 300-pound blind albino. It takes a lot to offend me. Do I get offended by that? No. Do you get offended by it? What are your thoughts on the name?
If you get offended by the name, it's not the beer for you. If you don't get offended by the name, it's probably a beer you like. And it's not a matter of style or taste or whatever. I think people that are more open-minded or don't take everything with a fucking chip on their shoulder or some kind of offense are more open to bigger and bolder and greater things and don't take everything seriously will like bigger and bolder beers. And somebody that who takes that name as uber offense will not like the beer because they're more conservative and more constrictive. That's my point.
I say try the beer.
I think with freedom of speech and stuff, you have to tolerate people that call their things that might be offensive, or else then you have these assholes policing everybody. All the fucking
well, you know, and that's funny because you always have somebody talking about freedom of speech. You always have somebody talking about freedom of speech, but it's only freedom of speech if it's freedom for them. If it's freedom for somebody else, not. Am I racist? No, I don't care what race you are. But can I get fully angry at somebody that's saying something racist? I can get angry at him being a bigot, but he has the right to say what he wants to say. I mean, he does have that right. That's what freedom of speech is. Do I agree with him? Not at all. But does he have the right to say it? He truthfully has the right to say it, whether I agree with it or not.
Yeah, these people that get pissed off about all this shit, they're coming across like everybody's fucking stupid, and that's offensive to everybody. Like, if you don't like the name of the beer, don't fucking drink it. But trying to police everybody, it's like
use your wallet to say that the name is wrong.
Yeah, they're like saying everyone's too stupid. That their morality is gonna change because someone named a beer mouth raper. That they're gonna go raping now. That's fucking absurd.
I think you should drink the beer. If it rapes your mouth, bow down to the greatness. That's what I say. I mean, you can argue against something that's factual. No, never, out loud.
Isn't this like charging bands because their songs cause people to do things?
That albino that came from, there was an albino that came from Africa. She came from Africa. She moved to BC. Earl's Albino Rhino Ale was out for years and years and years, and she went to the Human Rights Tribunal and charged them for making fun of her because it was an Albino Rhino Ale. The Human Rights Tribunal overturned their name. They had to change the name. You know what? She's an idiot. I'm okay with the tribunals overturning it because now I can make a beer called Albino Rhino Ale. And I can be like, I'm albino. I'm not making fun of her. What the fuck are you talking about? And that's the great thing about it, because we all know the double standards and stuff like that too. But like, don't like it, but don't get all offended about it and try to stop somebody's freedom of speech. You don't like it, you don't have to like it.
The problem now is that all kids that were being bullied in the 70s and the 80s and maybe the 90s are holding very powerful positions.
Hey, I was bullied in the 80s and 90s. I mean, I'm an albino. I was different. I was bullied. You know what I did? I got bigger than the other guys, and I fought them, and they left me alone.
Well, let me ask you this, guy. Like, all you guys love beer. Like, if you walked into a bar and you had no idea what the bar had, and it had some obscure beer menu you never heard of before, and the first one was Bellwood's Dog Shit Ale, or not Dog Shit Ale, Dog Love Ale. They had Sierra Nevada Tippy Toe Ale. They had Red Stripe Cloud Lager. They had something else, and then they had something called Mouth Raper. I'd order the Mouth Raper.
You know what? In all honesty,
I would pick Sierra Nevada mostly because I see it advertised more or less.
See, and I would.
That's because you're a sellout.
I mean, I've walked into.
I'm just a stranger walking in a bar.
My first indie ale house beer ever was their Cock Puncher. And you know why I tried it? Because it was called Cock Puncher.
Fuck yeah, that's a great name.
So, I mean, names are a big thing. Do I understand why somebody would get offended by the name Mouth Raper? Yes,
too much
I fully understand why somebody would get offended by the name Mouth Raper. Do I think we have to do a big blog article about how naming has gone wrong and you should completely avoid this brewery and this brewery should change its name. Not really. I think that you should get over it. I mean, I understand. I understand the two different sides. I understand Brett saying it's just beer, get over it. I understand Dave saying there's no joking about rate. At the same time, it's called Mouth Raper IPA. There's a reason it's called Mouth Raper because they're saying it rapes your fucking palate. You know how many people? You know how many people have checked in a beer on Untappd or Beer Advocate or Rate Beer and said this has raped my palate. This has destroyed my palate for the night. Because rape doesn't necessarily mean you sexually rape somebody. There is a few different definitions of what rape means.
The one thing is I find stupid is the dumbass that was complaining about this has just given that beer more publicity than it ever could have fucking paid for.
And what were you going to say,
They made the beer, and then now we're talking about it, and everyone else is talking about it. It's all over the internet. Fuck, it just sold. That beer's sold out.
Now
I
we're
want
making
mouth
a
raper.
show
I gotta
about
tell the
it.
guy to order me something.
To be honest with you, everything in life is offensive. Everything. When I say everything, I have come to the conclusion that everything will offend somebody. So, for instance, I may say to Average Joe, you know, Average Joe goes into a restaurant and I'm sitting at one side of the restaurant and he's sitting at the other side of the restaurant. And the bartender comes over and says to me, can I have a rest drive? No, can I have a drink? And Average Joe was there 2 minutes before I came there, and Average Joe didn't get served before me. You know, Average Joe is going to say he's being prejudiced because I'm fat. He doesn't like me because I'm fat. And if it was vice versa, I'd be saying, nah, he's prejudiced because I'm skinny. Everything in life shows some prejudice. And so I may say, you know, that girl didn't. I'm going to buy that beer because, you know, it says fat lady. Well, you're being defensive. You know, my wife is fat or my kids are fat. You know, it's offensive. Something must offend somebody, you know. And there will always be that one person out there that is get offended that will take it to the next level.
You know what, Marvin? You just said the most intelligent thing I've ever heard on the internet. Because it's true. Every single person in the world will be there is not one thing that you can do that will not offend somebody in the world. Me and Joe and his dad, Average Joe and Average Dad walked into the Flying Saucer one night after the Niagara Beer Festival in St. Catherine. And we sat down at the table and we ordered our food. And there was a family behind us that decided that they didn't get their food fast enough. And they tried to play the race card and this and that and tried to say they were the police and everything else. And it was funny to listen to it because something will offend everybody and everybody will try to use something to their advantage when they're trying to do something. And that's all there is to it. I mean, is the name offensive? To some people it is. To some people it isn't. Should you get all up in arms on it? Just don't buy it. Just don't buy it. Right. If you want to not buy anything from the brewery, don't buy anything from the brewery. Right. But don't get so offended by it that you have to make a big deal of it. It wasn't saying, I raped your sister, IPA. It didn't say that. It didn't do anything like, I'm going to rape you, IPA. Nothing like that. It's Mouth Raper IPA. I understand the stigma on rape culture and rape and this and that. I understand the stigma on it. I understand why it is what it is. And I get it. But just
that's just kind of how I feel about, you know, with like the self-serve taps that I've brought up like numerous of times. It's like, why every time something that's good, you know, anti-alcoholic whatever organization has to get involved? It's stuff like that. It just annoys the crap out of me. But
I'm gonna split those guys. Have a good one.
All right, you have a good night.
Bizzukadan.
Yeah, no, like I get whether or not you like it. I get all that, whatever. But again, like I said, this will segue into another topic, which was posted by Stephen Beaumont, which is sexism in craft beer.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, like I said, we were going to use our two biggest topics
conversation
when we're all drinking. Anyway, he had posted about how sexism is a big thing in the U.S. and it's a new problem. sexism in craft beer.
I never
And
knew.
he went on a bunch of different topics, but I mean, in all honesty, there is 3,000 craft breweries in the U.S. There is 700 craft breweries across Canada. Will sexism exist in North America craft brewing? Yes. There is no way you can take 3,700 craft breweries and have no sexism at all across the whole board. There is no way it will not exist. However, is it as huge an option, is as huge an article as some people make it out to be? I don't think it is, at least here in Ontario, because I mean, I can name 10 female craft brewers off the top of my head. I can name 7 others right now that are sitting in the Niagara College Teaching Brewery, and they will be hired the second they have their degree. They will be hired the second they have their degree for no other reason than they're female, so that it makes the brewery look good. Is there sexism in craft beer? Sure, you have names like Mouth Raper. You have names like Naughty Neighbor, which has a fucking label of a girl in fucking a girl in fishnet stockings with her leg up and like her boobs out and all that. You have stuff like that. You have Immodest, which is fishnet stockings. You have sex sells, and more guys buy beer right now than females. So female sex sells. So there is going to be sexism in the industry. Is it so widespread that it's a huge problem, or is it being overblown? What do you think?
I think that when I first heard anything, any wind about the whole feminist movement of craft beer sector, I didn't think it was that big of a deal, honestly, because I never really found any huge definitive proof of where women were being suppressed so badly that they needed to go to a law office of some sorts or anything like that. So I haven't really found any articles, unless you guys have. I'd love to hear them or see them in links or whatever. But yeah, me personally, I've never even heard of anything like that unless I read something off the internet about it. You know, I never even heard about it on the news ever, on TV or on the radio or anything. So to me personally, I don't think it's that huge of a problem. But then again, I'm not a woman, so you know what I mean? So, that's just my thought on it.
That's up for debate, but we'll see. Oh, wait, what are we talking about?
Obama.
Obama!
We weren't talking about Obama.
No, we were talking about how the feminist, I guess, whatever, group for brewing beer, like women are being suppressed or they're being exploited to sell beer and things like that.
No, I heard. I was just trying to be funny.
No.
Which never happens. But,
I'm not laughing.
Yeah, everybody's women, men, barley, hops are all being exploited for the gain of the beer industry. Everybody's being exploited. Whatever makes dollars, that's all that matters. You know what I mean? When it comes to like selling shit, so who gives a fuck? You know what I mean? There's no one's getting hurt. That's all that matters.
Well, yes, these companies aren't advocating throwing a woman in fishnets and making her sit in front of you. They're using that for the people that are going to get off on a can that has that art. I mean, do I agree with it? Fully, no, but do I care as much as maybe I should? Again, no. If it's a good beer, I'm still going to buy it. If it's not a good beer, I'm not going to buy it. If it's fully offensive to me, will I buy it? No. But what does it take to offend me, a guy that's grown up as a albino, legally blind guy that's been made fun of most of his life? It takes a lot to offend me, ladies. I'm sorry. But there's a lot of things that offend people that make me just shake my head. Like albino rhino ale. Oh, they're making fun of... No, they're fucking talking about an albino rhino. There is an albino rhino in the fucking world. Not just me using that name, but there are albino rhinos in the world. They're not saying, you fucking albinos, you're fucking... No, like, get over yourselves. Learn to accept things and learn to not be offended by everything. If you're offended by everything, you're going to have a horrible life.
This is the thing that I have. It's like, you know, and I feel like I'm going into deep water here, but it's like, you are a woman, I hear you roar. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, if they made a beer out there called the Tiny Peter Porter or whatever, I'm not going to get all up in arms about it and make a huge...
Well, how many beers are called Long Dong something? Like, there's a beer called there's Long Dong Pilsner, there's Long Dong Stout, there's Long Dong Amber. One of them has a fucking black guy with the label just over his fucking penis and nothing else. Like the name over his penis and nothing else. Like, there is so many offensive things out there, but if you're going to get offended by everything, you're going to be a miserable person. And I'm sad that like 3 of our cast members dropped out without saying anything to me.
Yeah, I was gonna say Joe and Marvin left, but yeah, I mean, I don't really see it as that big of an issue. I mean, I don't see them going out and protesting or anything like that. Obviously, I mean, I would have to look more into it. I haven't really, you know what I mean? It just wasn't that appealing to me to read.
I don't think one of the comments that came up on Stephen Beaumont's chat was inclusion, and I don't think inclusion is a big problem with female brewers. If you are a female with brewing experience, you're getting hired on the spot. Basically, like back when equal rights at jobs started, and if you were not white, you got hired on the spot. If you're a female brewer, you get hired on the spot as long as you have brewing experience. That's just the way it is because inclusion is there. Like I said, I can name 10 off the top of my head. I can name 7 that are going to get hired right away, and that's just with the breweries I know. And I only work with 15 breweries on a standard time. I mean, I've been to and know I know brewers at like 60 different breweries, but I only work with about 15. And between those 15, I can name 10 female brewers at 10 of them. Like, it's not like it's
right.
No, you can't brew here. Like, it's a sad thing that people are trying to make something out of something that isn't there yet. And I understand what he's saying. I mean, I do not disagree with him. There will be sexism in the industry.
Yeah, it's gonna happen.
You can't not have it with over 4,000 breweries in North America. You can't not have it.
And when both sides of the gender spectrum are involved too, I mean, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I agree with you, Chet.
Well, regardless, if you're good, you're good.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what sex you are, as long as you can make beer, you can make beer.
Yeah,
Sonia,
no one's gonna be like,
Sonia
no one's gonna
make some good beers.
No one's gonna be like, oh, you make great beer, you're a woman, go fuck yourself. That's not gonna happen.
I don't know if we can say nobody, because I'm sure some people will. But
yeah, Hitler and hell will say that, and a couple other like weird, bizarre instances, and then companies that will go under. You know what I mean? Companies that will go under will say that because they'll be so short-sighted and bigoted that if they don't go under now, they'll go under in the future.
I mean, I know a handful of brewers at particular breweries, but for the most part, it could all be women. I'd have no idea, and like you said, I could really care less as long as it's good beer.
I mean, and that's the thing. I mean, how many males actually care versus how many males just want good beer? I think that's my big question. I even asked. I posted on his post. I'm like, you know what, Steven? I can name 10 right now, and I can name 7 others that will be in it. We're talking about inclusion. You have so many people talking about inclusion. How many female brewers can any of you name? And then they all just ignored me because I'm the sexist motherfucker, according to them. But I'm okay with that. Whatever.
I think that one of the articles I read from that was one of the I was just gonna say real quick. One of the articles, I didn't really read it. I just glanced at it, and I saw one of the leaders of, you know, women's rights in the craft beer industry and having them have equal rights of getting hired compared to other people and stuff like that. And one of them was the New Belgium Brewery's head brewer or whatever. So with her and everything. So that's all I was gonna say.
I'll take. First off, I'm not a fan of her. I've heard her speak many a times, and I'm not a fan. And that's the exception, not the rule. But my point I was going to make, the atypical 80s, 90s male fantasy is metal music with a girl in a junkyard playing guitar with sparks flying everywhere. At least that's what I think it is.
No, I'm different. I'm different.
Yeah. So if you were
on the hood with white.
If you replace that fantasy with the junkyard with the brew, like a brew house and a bunch of metal fucking casks everywhere and a girl playing guitar and sparks flying everywhere, then you have the absolute male fantasy. So who doesn't want that shit? But the lady from New Belgium is I'm going to tell you right now, she's fucking idiotic. And their beer sucks. End of story.
Okay, we have a bunch of comments from our good friend Greg, who can't get back in, so he's just spamming us.
Wait, why
I'm only on 3 devices, you jerk. He's only on 3 devices, you jerk, to Joe saying that he's on all 4 devices that were logged in. But if you don't talk about rape, doesn't it give it more power? Kind of like how Harry Potter in the Harry Potter world they wouldn't say the name Voldemort. Yeah, I can understand exactly what you're saying. If you shy away from rape, it means that rape doesn't exist, and rape can do more than it. And yeah, okay, I understand exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, look to your left, and then look to your right. One of these men will rape you.
Like Chad says, freedom of speech works both ways, and yeah, I mean, I don't agree with everything people say. I don't agree with anything that the fucking West Baptist Church says, but they have the right to say it, whether or not we agree with it. They can say it.
The whole freedom of speech thing, and this is my take, and you take it for a grain of salt, obviously, because I say crazy shit all the time, but freedom of speech is this. People confuse freedom of speech with freedom from consequences. Listen, I can go out in the front of my house and I can say crazy shit all I want and nothing will happen to me. But I will lose my job and I will lose other shit that like freedom of speech does not protect you from your ordinary life through people who surround you, but you will not go to jail. And you will not be persecuted for what you say because of that freedom of speech.
And in the same vein, at the same time, what people don't realize is that like you said, you can't be persecuted, you can't be this, you can't be that, and I don't even know where I'm going because I'm reading ahead.
It's a matter of. Go ahead.
I was just gonna add to what you had to say, man, about. The freedom of consequence. So, you have people who go out there, say what they have to say, but at the same time, I mean, you could have a cop come up to you and say that you're disturbing the peace and things like that, but then you can counter them and say that you have the right to assemble and whatever else, you know what I mean? So.
And if you stay within the rules,
you know what? Something else here is that we are all North Americans. Freedom of speech is a North American thing. You go to Europe, you can't say everything you want to fucking say. You just can't.
Well, I know. Well, isn't there a place in? I correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm not 100%. But is there a place in England, in London, where there's a place where you can stand on a soapbox and say what you have to say to the public? I think there's one place. You can say whatever the hell you want. I don't know I can't remember what it is exactly. I'll have to look that up. But
I don't know. But I'm just saying that in Europe and in most countries, freedom of speech doesn't exist. Freedom of speech is a North American thing, and we all cling to it as if it's the be all end all. And I mean, it's there, it exists, but you can't say whatever you want all over the world. You can just do it over here.
Yeah, but and the point from the poster said you can say whatever you want, but you can't be like, listen, I can go out in front of my house right now, right in the middle of the night, and I can walk out there and be like, I can say fuck you, and then say whatever person, thing, creature, denomination, whatever I want, and walk back to my house. Nothing will probably happen. The only thing that would happen would be someone would be offended, and they would fight me, and that person would go to jail for hitting me. But if I went in front of my job and said that, my job would be like, we don't want you working there anymore, and I get fired. I can't say it was freedom of speech. No, I'm working. This is my job. I can't sit in front of my job and scream
you're at
these
work
words
where you sign a
and
contract.
Scream, not even a contract. It's just a matter of being there's a difference between this is my employer. I can say just because I said whatever I wanted to say doesn't mean I still don't have freedom of speech. I'm fired. I can still keep saying what I want to fucking say. I just don't have a job anymore. That's the freedom. You know what I mean? I can keep saying.
You're right. A lot of people do mistake it for what it is.
Yeah, it's a freedom of consequence versus freedom of speech. People don't grasp that shit, and it's infuriating.
You won't be shot for what you said. That's the freedom.
Well, you might be shot for what you said, but it's not right to get shot for it.
Exactly. But that's the thing. It's my job to say you're fired. Again, you could grab some kind of ACLU, whatever the fuck you want to contest that. But the grand scheme of things, I can keep saying what I want to say, and I won't get in trouble. That's the freedom of speech.
Yeah, you're not going to get your head cut off.
So the bylog posted, I tried Cockpuncher for the exact same reason, because of its name, and it was a great beer. He also posted people make jokes about all sorts of inappropriate shit. It just happens that sexual assault is a hot button issue lately. Most people don't give a second thought.
Lately, it's
But
been
there
an
are
issue
always
for a
those
while.
people that get angry about it, and he's right. And remember a few years ago, some people protested that restaurant for that had urinals that were shaped like mouths with lipstick. Apparently, they advocated peeing in girls' mouths. Some people just look for reasons to be angry, and he is right. Some people just look for reasons to be angry. Would I pee in a urinal that was shaped like lips with a lipstick? Sure, I would pee in any urinal that's out there. Do I pee in my wife's mouth? I can tell you I do not pee in my
Yeah,
wife's
but
mouth.
see,
because
that is your own personal, the business. If you pee in your wife's mouth, it's nobody else's business.
Well, let me ask you this, Chad. Will there be mouth raper available at your festival? And on top of that, will there be mouth raper beer?
Will there be beer that rapes your mouth? Possibly. Will there be beer that is called a mouth raper? Probably not, but Cock Puncher might be there because Indie Ale House is there.
Well, as long as there's some kind of genitalia involved, I'm okay with that.
Get some
another thing Bylog posted, which is a great thing to talk about, which but again you get the people that come on the well, you guys have been the highest point of society for so long you don't get to complain, is the local humane society is making calendars involving hot firemen and cute animals to raise funds. Should men be offended because they are being exploited to make money?
Yep.
No.
Brad just laughs, and I just laugh too, because you know what? Who cares? Why do people make this stuff into issues? Who cares? If somebody's stupid enough to pay money for a calendar,
we will go on the steps of Capitol Hill with these calendars,
then they do that. Who gives a shit? I don't give a shit. You know what? My wife wants a fucking calendar of half-naked men. Will I be somewhat offended? Yeah, I'll be somewhat offended because she should only want me. But do I care all that much? No, because you know what? I know that my dick is the one going in her, not the fucking hot fireman's.
It's a fucking calendar. You're like, come on.
With puppies. Okay, it's a trade-off.
It's the puppies are covering their genitalia.
This is nothing new. Like, really. Like, come on. This calendar has been out.
I was kind of getting a little bit weirded out when Greg started to talk about puppies and then firemen. I was thinking like he was going to start talking about dog vaginas again.
Well, who knows? That's just the last comment that came up. We only have 2 viewers now, though, so one is Greg and one is who knows who. And nobody's saying anything other than Greg. So, yeah, it is what it is. We got into the high-end topic at the very end. We should have got into the high-end topic at the very beginning. But I didn't want to do it right at the very beginning, because then you get all the people that are actually trolls out there waiting for you to say something that will just jump into it. Nobody's going to watch this far. Nobody's going to watch this far. It's true. Nobody.
Let me see here.
We'll see next week if Marvin can get 200 people watching.
Oh, when I heard that, I was like, I'm gonna be camera shy over here. I'm gonna just have my logo up.
So you could get a bunch of Jamaican women, man.
Yeah, do it in the mirror.
You know, one of my favorite guys at work, his name is Hector. And Hector, I met Hector's wife for the first time at a dinner party. He invited me to a dinner party at his house. Hector's right from Cuba. His wife lives here in Niagara Falls. She was from St. Catharines. She went to Cuba, and she met him there, and they ended up marrying, and he came back here. And the funny story was, when she met Hector, and this is the greatest part about Hector's story, because I'm sure he likes his wife enough, but yeah. So when she met Hector, he was 20 and single. When she left Cuba a week later, he was 28 and married because she found out he was married. He was a tour guide. He was a tour guide that was trying to find a woman from another country to get him out of Cuba, basically. And he still is a womanizer. I mean, he is, but they were on a tour. And they passed his house on the tour, and all of his stuff was on the front lawn because his wife had found out he was fucking around with this girl from Canada. So they drive past his house, and everything is on the front lawn. And that's when he had to admit to her that he was 28 and that he had a wife, because he's like, "That's all my shit."
I just posted an article that I read about something that was about women in the craft beer thing. I know it's the past, but I'm just pretty much what I've read from just one article so far is that it seems like that women just I feel like women just want to be recognized as, okay, this isn't a male dominant hobby. This is also women whatever. So, I see why they're bringing it up, because I see that a lot. I see it in a lot of things like video games, and like what we were talking about earlier, like from the other panel about smoking tobacco and things like that. It's like women can do it too. I was like, okay, I realize that. So I mean, not as many women out there make videos like us, men do, but like it's just it's like, okay, it's like I hear ya kind of thing. So,
and in all honesty, of the women that do make videos right now, there's only 2 of them that I'm actually watching right now, and that's Cheers Chick, because I for some reason she reminds me of a really good friend of mine. She reminds me very much of my friend Victoria. Yeah, I know, and I told you to fuck yourself.
Why? What did I say?
You were talking about this awesome beer that you were able to get, and
okay.
Anyway, so there's her, and there's that fuck, what's her name? Lee knows her. Lee knows her name at least. I can't even think of the name at the moment. Something. I don't know.
There's 3 I watch. It's the same one as you. Cheers Chick. I watch Craft Brew Chick, and then I watch Irish Finney. That's about it. Those are the only 3.
Cheers Chick and Amanda something, I think her name is. I don't know, some girl that has these amazing facial expressions and these fucking weird wrinkles.
Is she the blonde? Is that the blonde girl?
I don't even know, to tell you the truth.
Okay, I can't remember. Well,
but yeah, most girls that do it. I mean, I can watch Tasting Niche videos, but she does so many jump cuts that I want to shoot myself. Most females that do beer reviews seem to do the same type of things. And the reason I like Cheers Chick is she actually has some amazing production value into her videos, where she has like, all the fucking shit fly up behind her and all that. She does a lot more than I ever do, and I put up videos all the time. I just don't care. I don't care enough to do that much. I don't. You know what? I drink beer to have fun. That's it. She'll do good because here's the 2 things she has going for her. She's somebody that people will find at least attractive, and I mean that is sexist to say, but she is somebody that will be found attractive. And she knows what she's talking about, and she has good production value. So she will become popular because of those 3 things.
I am about to subscribe, so... Yeah.
There's, but one of the things that I enjoy out of watching women's videos of beer is one, I feel like Cheers Chick, she has like kind of an OG kind of, feel. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of like she's not trying to say stuff to impress you. It's mostly just her saying whatever comes to mind, kind of thing. But I also like watching a woman's perspective because honestly, there's not a lot of women even in my area, let alone the internet.
First off, before we go offline and we can chat about things that we want to chat about without the camera being on us, fuck you, you sexist prick, and bye guys.